to be vampires? We're day people on Bad Movies Rule, the worst movie podcast ever recorded. And today we've got the mad genius Joe Goratowski in the house.
Joe.
We got the Reverend Charles Hewitt and the Mayor Ryan Mueller.
Mayor.
I'm your host James Hauser. Let's go. We're talking about Once Bitten. Let's see if all your buttons stay intact today,
Okay.
Charles.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's a
We
dangerous.
don't want any buttons
One of your
popping
vampires
off or loose.
We're talking about Once Bitten from 1985. A great year. I remember 1985. I was in first grade, I think.
Yeah, give or take.
Was not watching this movie, but this movie is very 80s. It is definitely a movie of its time
Yes.
period.
Yes.
And so for everybody who's never listened to the show before, welcome. Thanks for picking Once Bitten as your first episode ever. If you haven't ever listened, we are going to go through this movie scene by scene, but first we'll give you all the particulars about the movie, who did it, who starred in it, what the critics have said, and then at the end, we're going to hand out some awards for who was the best, who was the worst, and ultimately our final rating. Is this a bad movie, a good movie, or a bad movie that rules? We're excited that you guys are here. Thanks for jumping in. Has any of you ever seen this movie before today?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
You're the only one.
I've seen this several times. And this is, my wife really likes this movie too.
Really?
Yes.
Well, okay, good. So I saw Melissa this morning. I didn't get a chance to ask her. She's a big fan then.
Yes.
This is right up there.
They watched this movie a lot apparently when they were kids.
Oh, this is one of their.
This is one of their like go-tos.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
I had never seen it. I remember maybe catching 5 minutes here or there on some movie channels or whatever, and I was surfing as like a 12-year-old, but never actually watched it. I was excited to watch the movie for the first time ever. Let's dive into it. This movie was directed by Howard Storm, who never directed another movie
Really? Never again, huh?
before or after this.
Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
50 TV shows.
Yes.
I mean, every show you could ever think of, basically.
Quite a few good ones, too.
80s, 90s. Oh, yeah, lots of good shows. But this was his only film that he
That's
ever
interesting.
directed.
That's surprising.
And the movie was written by Dimitri Villiard, who was a producer on the film. I think he just
He's a vampire.
helped. Is he?
Sounds like it.
Villiard.
Dimitri.
Dimitri?
He's from Pennsylvania.
I am Dimitri Villiard.
Like, we need more tales of women vampires. So we're going to write one.
So the movie was written by the writing duo of David Hines and Jeffrey Howes, and they had written some other kids' movies like Pirate Camp, things like that. They teamed up together. I think what happened was Dimitri was a producer on the film, and then he helped punch up the script and got writing credit for it, but I don't think it was his idea.
Wasn't his baby, huh?
No. Movie starred Lauren Hutton, who most people would probably know from, well, she was a model, but then American Gigolo is probably her most famous movie with Richard Gere.
Okay.
And then
Oh.
a baby-faced Jim Carrey.
Baby.
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
Wet
Baby
behind the
face.
ears.
About 22, 23 when he made it.
Yeah.
It's like his fourth or fifth movie, I think.
Oh, was it? I didn't
Yeah.
look
First
up what his...
Hollywood. He had a couple movies that was up in Canada.
Oh, like
Oh,
Copper,
that's
Copper
right.
Mountain.
He's Canadian,
Yeah.
isn't he?
Yeah.
He is.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is the thing I didn't know about Jim Carrey till I did a deeper dive on this, because I've always been a huge Jim Carrey fan. I thought for the longest time he just sprung out of the air in 1994.
Nope.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber, The Mask, boom.
Put in his time.
the scene. This was his big shot to lead his first movie ever.
Yes.
Yep.
It bombed so hard, he almost never got a second chance. He did a couple of, very minor parts, like in Peggy Sue Got Married after this. Earth Girls Are Easy, he was a supporting part.
Oh, is he in that?
And
Okay.
then as one
That's
of the
another list
aliens.
of movies.
But it wasn't until he was able to, and he couldn't get anything. He got killed in Deadpool,
Yeah.
the Dirty Harry movie, like the last Dirty Harry movie that was made. Another bit part Clint Eastwood gave him in Pink Cadillac, but nothing ever again. Like he was the lead in this movie.
Right.
Almost got no chance again after this, and it wasn't until he booked In Living Color
Yep.
that his star went back on the rise again.
Yes.
From playing all these insane
Fire
characters.
Marshal Bill.
Fire Marshal Bill, Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I
Who was
forgot
the
about
girl,
that.
the workout girl that he had
Yeah,
the
the
hair at the point?
Hi. My name is.
Right. I don't remember what her name is.
Yeah, again, what was her name?
I don't
love
know.
It.
But that is what ultimately got him
though.
Ace Ventura and all this other stuff. Right. Jim Carrey is more of a comeback story
Yes.
than he is like
Yeah.
this guy that kind of came out of nowhere. So this was his big failure.
Unjustifiably, I would argue.
No, I don't think it's his fault.
No.
But yeah, I mean, the critics, we're going to get into that right now. As I said, Lauren Hutton, Jim Carrey, Karen Coppins, Cleavon Little was also in this,
Oh, I loved seeing him again.
who you would probably recognize from Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
It did a double take. I was like, wait
That's
a
what I
minute.
told
Yeah,
my wife. I
right.
said, that's the guy from Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
Candygram from Angno.
Yeah. I saw the movie, didn't recognize him.
No?
No.
And
It was
afterwards, I
those
was like,
pants shocked you.
that was him? I watched it, yeah.
he was right.
He was definitely a different character in this movie than he was in Blazing
Yeah,
Saddles.
definitely.
His horse pants that he walked in
Yeah.
on. That's the first thing the movie comes on, and Dana goes, what's with the pants?
Pants.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Man, oh man.
Equestrian pants.
Movie had a budget of $3.2 million, box office of 10, kind of anemic budget, anemic box office. Movie currently sits at a 5.5 on IMDb and a 10% on Rotten
Yeah,
Tomatoes.
the
That's
critics
mean.
just crapped all over this.
So when I say it was a failure, I mean, it was like, nah, at the box office. It more was just a critical, they just destroyed this
Our
movie.
critic's too rough on this movie. Then.
And it's, even the audience, only 39% audience.
What's wrong with the
Yeah.
audience?
So I think it's obvious where Charles is in on this.
Is this audience now or audience in the 80s?
I mean, you can go vote on it now, or
Well, obviously, Rotten Tomatoes
Yeah,
wasn't
it's
around
gonna
in the
be
80s.
now.
No, right, but still pretty low.
I could tell you why critics probably didn't like it. It's
Why?
got some non-PC stuff in it.
Well, yes, especially now, but
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I
think,
think in the 80s it was fine.
Yeah, in the 80s.
Now it's not
Yeah,
so
no,
much.
Well, that's what I
Yeah.
mean. But if they're reviewing it now, they're not going to like that stuff, and they're
Right,
going to
because they
retroactively
don't-
judge it or criticize it.
they don't
which, you
take
know,
it into
whatever, but-
context of when the movie's
Right.
made. It's just
Right.
what's in front of me now.
And maybe current audiences too making reviews on this.
Oh,
that could be, for sure.
I went on there a lot of 3 out of 5s, a lot of 2 out of 5s from the audiences
Yeah.
when I was on there, and there was only 10 critics ratings, and only 1 out of those 10 gave it a positive review.
That one was definitely a nail in a coffin.
Rack them up.
Yeah, I got to give them that.
Did it go?
No.
No. There,
we
we
go.
go.
So, I think it was time to revisit this movie.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know, it was voted on by our patrons. We did not pick this movie. This, I should say, was part of a poll of 6 films. The patrons voted for.
I am a
Once
little
Bitten.
surprised this won that.
Yeah, well,
It won it by like 1 vote.
it won it
was
over.
real
Hey,
close.
I'm the guy. Oh, I mean,
Wasn't it Abraham Lincoln?
That's right.
Yeah.
Abraham Lincoln, Vampire
my
Hunter.
first time voting, and I made a difference.
Came
You
down.
can make a difference when you vote, people.
One vote
One vote counts.
When I voted, I was the deciding vote.
You're welcome or you're sorry. I don't know which way to go with it, but
Yeah, so I really thought I Know What You Did Last Summer was going to do more, but that was one of the lowest vote getters.
Yeah, I was surprised at that, how low that one was.
I mean, we could have gotten a chance to roast that movie. I mean, someday. It's not gone forever, but
well, I wonder if the Jim Carrey factor made it.
Which one did?
Darkness Falls.
Darkness
I'm
Falls,
okay with
which
that
was,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that one. That
I
was
looked at it, I was like, good. That
Good.
thing looked like a total crap show.
It's a survivor poll, so the lowest vote getter gets ousted. And you know, if you want to have your chance to vote, all you got to do is join our Patreon. I know a lot of you have been listening to the show for a long time, and that's fine. You definitely don't have to sign up for the patron. It's there for people that want to have more bonus content. There's, like I said, you can vote on episodes. You can have your awards submitted. You know, every episode we read some of the patrons' thoughts.
Yeah, this movie just came out.
Yeah, and Spaceballs
Yeah,
is part of
Spaceballs
Good
just
Movies
dropped,
Rule.
yeah.
So there's a whole other show, Good Movies Rule, that's available on there as well as
That's
On
a
the
fun one,
House
too.
too. Yeah, and we talk about. I think we've done Ferris Bueller, Jaws, we've done Predator, Spaceballs, and They Live. Joe would argue he got the only bad movie on Good Movies Rule. Maybe. Oh no, that was Ryan that didn't like.
Yeah,
They
Madeline
Live.
got
right.
that
No,
one.
You
I
and
loved
Madeline
it.
on
I
that
loved
one.
it.
I forgot about
They
that.
Live.
But we're doing, we got Nice Guys coming up as our next Good Movies Rule on there. So you can do all that. Patreon.com/Bad Movies Rule if you'd like. Otherwise, Bad Movies Rule will always be here and free and available. So we love you guys for tuning in. And if you could, on whatever app you're using, if it allows you to leave a review, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, would you go on there, give us that 5-star review? It really helps the show out. We would greatly appreciate that.
Especially the
As
Apple one.
Well,
Yeah, 70 of you sign up for Apple, give us a rating, and then you can close it. I don't care.
Yeah.
the thing with Apple is they don't count the rating if you don't listen to the show.
Well, so listen
really?
to it,
Yeah.
rate
Stay
the
on for-
show,
yeah.
and then you close your Apple account.
Perfect.
That's
Either
fine.
way. You guys ready to dive into Once
do it.
Bitten? I thought for
Yeah.
sure this name was taken from that song.
The song.
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
but right before we started, I looked it up, and it wasn't until 1989
You're
that
welcome.
song came out. Thank you,
Yeah.
Joe, for giving me that impetus. Because I'm sitting there, I'm like, Joe, why didn't they use the Yeah, man, once bitten, twice shy, baby.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
I don't think they came out in the same year.
I thought about that, but I was like, I think that song was a little after this movie.
My wife and I talked about that phrase, once bitten, twice shy.
Yeah, where's that come
very
from?
briefly, and we're like, what does that mean? We both agreed we don't really know.
I think
Once
it means
bitten,
like
twice
you
shy
touch
means.
the stove once and you learn a lesson and you don't touch it again, right?
Oh,
and
that
so
makes
if,
sense.
if you
Yeah.
make a decision and you get bit, you're less likely to do it again. So once bitten,
Because the
twice shy.
song
Right.
is about like the singer picking up, a road chick,
Oh.
and
oh, yeah.
yeah, she like a groupie, right?
Like a
Was it
love
vampire?
Does her thing. Not a vampire, I don't think. But then, like, he's seen her with other bands and stuff, right?
Oh.
So now he's like,
Oh, that's classic old.
what it is.
Right.
I mean, that's an old story.
Technically,
Yeah,
this
That's happened
movie,
so many times.
this movie should have been called
All the
Twice
time.
Bitten.
Or thrice. Well, no, because he never
he'll
gets
Never
it.
got
no.
the third.
Yeah.
twice bitten.
This movie starts off with the sheriff from Blazing Saddles.
I love his character in this movie.
His
man.
name's Sebastian. It's coming into this mansion, and
White
he's
and black mansion.
fixing in his horse pants, fixing the. I mean, the dude takes his time making the longest breakfast
Yes.
Right.
ever.
Pacing is definitely different in this movie than modern films.
A little bit. A little bit.
Well, he had to
Yeah.
do that because they had to get through the credits while he was making
that's true.
breakfast.
It's like I gotta wait for the
and it
credits
was
to
a
be done.
super
Yeah.
complicated
He's like,
breakfast,
okay,
too.
how far down? Okay,
Glass
just
of blood.
fry up another egg.
Yeah.
We're still rolling
Yeah.
credits here.
Yep. No, it was painting. Check out the alignment on the end table here.
It's like what I do on Christmas morning while my kids are waiting for me to get to let them know it's okay to come
Yeah.
out, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't know how you guys do Christmas, but I gotta like go make sure
It's all ready.
that Santa came. Okay,
Oh.
Yeah.
right. And I would take my time.
Yes.
Yes.
Make
Really?
a cup of coffee, have a little, and they're in there just going, "His dad did it happen?" You know, and I'm just like, I don't know.
cruel.
Time. No, but in this case, you're right. He's waiting for the opening credits. He makes her a literal Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very nice. Yeah.
Not figuratively.
No,
No,
a
literally.
literal Bloody
Yeah.
Mary.
But I gotta say, none of the blood drinks look like blood.
No,
It's all cranberry juice.
No, it was
Could have
water
made
with
it look a little more real.
this water with food dye in it.
Yeah, it was pretty much.
I mean, it was thin. It looked
Didn't
watery.
even look like a Bloody Mary. They could have put at least tomato juice
They
in
could have
there.
at least made an actual Bloody Mary.
Charles, Ryan. How many Austrian peasants have you cut open? You know exactly, like in
From the 1700s?
That's a fair
Early
point. I don't
1700s?
know what their blood was like in the
That's possible.
1700s
Maybe
in Austria.
That's what 300-year-old blood. Maybe by then it's a
It
little
thins out. Yeah, maybe it thins out. It
That's
ages,
possible. Good
lightens
point,
a little
James.
bit.
Good point.
Yeah, that's a good point. Fair
Yeah.
point.
I'm just
Fair
glad
point.
she didn't say it around Jim Carrey because then he went like Austria. Oh well, g'day, mate. All right. So anyway, this is the whole point of the scene is plot setup. So he wakes up the Countess, who's in her gym attire inside this coffin.
He's in a coffin.
Sits up. She gets her little breakfast. Her
Turns her
Austrian-
TV
Well,
off
and he
in
says,
there.
"It's dusk, Your
Right.
Highness."
That's right. Well,
So-
wait, rise and shine.
Yes, rise and shine.
Here's your blood of an Austrian peasant. she identifies immediately.
Well, here's your drink. She drinks it and
Yeah.
says, "Oh, it's like wine tasting.
Not bad vintage.
Not bad vintage, yeah."
You got this off the top shelf,
Yeah.
didn't you?
How are they getting blood from an Austrian
Early
peasant?
1700s, and I loved how she knew who it was when it wasn't the type O negative
Yeah,
or something
right.
like that. I'm like, okay, well, she's a vampire.
Well, if that's all you drink,
Yeah,
I mean, you're
Yeah.
going to get really good
it's
at
true.
it.
That's true because in her bar, she's got like a cowboy jug style, like you would drink whiskey out
Yeah.
of back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Full of blood. She's just like down.
Yeah, and I
that.
forgot what she had, what it said on there, but
Blood,
Literally, just
It
all
was
negative
blood,
yeah.
something.
whole blood or something.
Yeah, that's what it was. Like it was milk. It was whole blood.
I was going to say, that's exactly how I am, like in the middle of the night with the milk.
You go down, you're looking for that whole blood down in
Chugging
the.
it out of the gallon.
I remember John
Hopefully
Wayne used to
nobody
have
sees
it like over his, and he'd like do it over his shoulder.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff. She's drinking her blood, and this is basically for them to lay out the plot, right? He goes, now, how long until Halloween, Sebastian? A little over a week, my dear. Remember, I have to drink the blood of a virgin 3 times, otherwise I will not be young anymore.
Everybody got that?
Okay.
Everybody got that?
Got that.
Pretty
Got
simple
it.
plot line, actually.
That's the plot.
Pretty simple.
I
But
like simple plots in movies.
she has to drink, and the whole point is that in the 80s, it's hard to find a virgin
Yes, she
anymore.
says, so hard being a
on a
vampire
second.
in the
I wanted
20th
to-
century is a nightmare.
I need to talk about this for a second.
Okay, please.
I don't remember being in the 80s and like the trope of there's no virgins left. I don't quite remember this.
No, well, in these 80s sex whether it's Porky's, whatever, like everybody.
Right.
Like, no, and that's was always the drive of the character, like whether it's American Pie or whatever, it's just like, we're the only ones. We have to lose our virginity.
We're the last virgin on Earth.
Last virgin on Earth. And so,
Oh.
Well,
right,
and the boys themselves talk about how it's like the right of manhood, and you got to.
it's like passing your driver's test for manhood.
But yeah,
Whatever.
yeah. When you're looking at these, these, outside Jim
Like, you forgot your
Carrey's
blinkers,
cute
but
buddies.
I pass you.
Right.
It's like, well, no wonder you guys are still virgins. You work at a freaking clown burger stand with
The hot dog hut.
the hot dog, whatever it is. With look at your uniforms and your little they use those hats now for pet costumes.
I think what she's saying is I got to imagine in the 1800s and earlier, it was probably much easier to find virgins.
Sure,
Except
because
that-
just the general population was less, I guess.
Virginity
But
was much
people-
more
but people were
fashionable
Getting
then.
married at 14 and stuff.
Yeah,
weren't
so
they?
how does that work? That's an interesting point because they do get married a lot earlier.
I think
they're having kids a lot earlier.
more recently, waiting till
Yes.
18, 19, 20, married
That's much
is
more common.
much more
Yeah.
common than it was back in the day.
Right.
So I don't. But the point is,
But,
she's got there's supposedly no virgins left in L.A.
Yes.
And I don't know. You lived in California in the 80s.
There's at least one virgin in LA.
Just got to find Charlie Hewitt's house.
There's at least one of us.
And all right, anyways, her minions come in, and she's like, you have to spread out through the city, and she's got these minions that used to be like one's a Civil
I love
War
this
vet.
part. I love how they're all different eras.
One's
They're still dressed like that.
flower
Right.
child,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
They're okay. I get you've been a vampire for a long time, but you don't have to wear the same clothes that you've had on the whole time.
It's funny, dude. And their caskets are the same too.
Right, it's from that era. Like one was a wicker basket.
Yeah.
Like,
I was like, where the wicker basket era from?
Doomed to an eternity of servitude, but you don't have to keep the same shirt on.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
The
they
whole
would dress up
Well,
in
do you? I
formal
mean, come
gear.
on.
They weren't dressed in like.
I mean, this was
period
before Seinfeld's puffy shirt too. You
Yeah.
know, we had a puffy shirt one.
Yeah. There's some certain cliches you have to maintain while being a
It's just
a
funny.
vampire.
It's
I guess.
funny. Would have been boring if they all looked the same and all had 80s haircut.
And they're whining.
Yeah.
Where are we supposed to? I'm like, try the Star Trek convention. Like,
I don't generally like whiny vampires. That's one of the reasons I had a hard time with.
oh, don't watch Twilight.
Oh no, never.
If you don't like whiny
No,
vampires.
that's one of the reasons I had a hard time with Interview with a Vampire.
Oh,
I
God.
love Lestat. Tom Cruise's
Yes.
vampire is awesome, but Brad Pitt's vampire was so freaking whiny.
Oh, dude.
All he whine, give me some rats. I don't want to kill people. I'm like, come on, man.
Even at the end, when Tom Cruise is listening to the tape in the car of his interview, he's like, always whining, Louis. Is like literally a line
Right.
from
Yes.
the movie.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm
he
like,
was a
just
big
go
one.
for it. And then, he turned the little girl in, which was a horrible decision. That
terrible.
movie drives me nuts.
Yeah, and at least to the Countess here in this movie's, they say to her, "We found an 11-year-old." She's like, "Oh no."
Yeah.
To
I
her,
thought, well, good for them.
to her credit,
She's
she's
not
got
interested in
standards.
that. Yes.
Okay, but literally, I think if you're in LA, there's places to look. Like there's Star Trek clubs and there's
There has to be.
comic book shops. And
Yes.
there's,
Those Star
you
Trek
know,
people might be getting freaky with each other.
Well, that's a good point too.
But maybe she doesn't want to like an ugly virgin.
Got it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the thing. You got to be so decent
In different
looking.
threshold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, if you're looking for a virgin, I'll tell you where you don't look. Don't go to the industrial park near the oil rig.
No. That is one place you don't want to go.
Seriously, what is going on with those kids there, man?
This is a trope. You see this? I mean, we did this in Killer Clowns from Outer
Yes,
Space too,
yes.
right? There was all the
Yeah.
people there in the
Right.
cars,
Yeah.
and it just happens a lot in movies. Did I grow up in the wrong town? There was just not a spot.
Well, you didn't have an
everywhere.
oil well to go next to.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's out there watching submarine races. I mean, they're living on the coast or in L.A.
Was it-
plenty
was
of
it-
submarines and boats?
I didn't notice. Was
watch
there like
those.
a cliff they were looking over or anything? Or was it just like a parking
no,
lot?
they're just,
Just a big oil derrick.
But this is a thing for movies where
Yes, of
there's
course.
these spots
Yeah.
where everyone goes, which is just gross. Like I don't want to be
Yeah, seriously.
like in the middle of
especially that close. They were
Like,
like all next to each
their
other.
door. You couldn't open the passenger
Right.
door because the next car is right there next to you. So it's
Equation.
just a ridiculous scene
Yes.
where we
Yeah.
see Jim Carrey's character he's got his ice cream truck parked in the middle of this. There's at least 20 other cars. All the cars are rocking. Don't come a knocking. Okay.
Guy walks up and asks him for an ice cream bar. Sees he's the only one not rocking.
Take a hike.
There's your virgin.
He's trying to get. He's got his girlfriend Robin in the truck with him.
Yeah.
And he's trying to get busy, and then they're kissing and stuff. But she kind of keeps shutting him down.
She's like,
and she's
"No,
like, we've been
no.
over this a million times.
I really want want to, but
Right.
I don't want it to be special. I don't want to do
He's
it.
like, we've been halfway through it a million times, right? You
I
know?
was proud of Robin, standing upon a principle.
That's right.
Here. So get out of here with that. I'm not doing an ice
Honestly.
cream truck.
Mark, bro, I think your biggest problem is that you're trying to score in an ice cream truck.
She even says it. Well, it's not natural or right for me to do it in a car. Well, what about an ice cream truck? Talk about a guy that's thinking with the wrong part of his body. This
is Mark's
one-track
problem,
mind
dude.
and needs to realize he needs to be more sensitive to Robin.
Location, setting, mood.
Yes.
Ice cream truck doesn't work for any of those things.
I mean, if he would have had the mood lighting that he had on the ice cream truck inside, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, hey,
Right?
babe.
He had the
If
rope
they
light
had been
around it. I
anywhere
mean, maybe
less
you get that
gross.
inside.
It might have been helpful.
You could put on an entire CD of Boys to Men, run it, but hey girl, I'm down, I'm bended knee, and all of a sudden, it's over.
Right.
All right, he literally gets out of the car. He's watching all of the cars bounce around, and he has this existential crisis. Oh, boo-hoo, my girlfriend won't sleep with me.
He's sexually frustrated.
He is, which is the genesis of the drive of his character for the whole movie.
Yep.
So him and his fellow virgins decide at the hot dog hut that they are going to cruise Hollywood, Sunset Boulevard or whatever, go to some club down in L.A., and there they'll finally be able to score.
There's an important scene here, though.
Yes, tell me.
They're cooking hamburgers.
Oh.
And his buddy gives him
yeah.
like a completely burned
It's
burger.
like a hockey puck.
Yes,
foreshadow.
he's
Yeah.
like, that's not cooked enough. And you're like, what the heck? And then this is a trope I've seen several times in movies too.
Yes.
The burgers catch on fire. He pulls out an extinguisher and puts them out. Can you even cook on a grill after you've used an extinguisher on it? Like, it's poisonous, isn't it?
I don't even know what comes out of it.
It's
know.
it's CO2. It's really cold. The question is
What's the foam?
Is it contaminated? It's
I don't know.
carbon dioxide foam.
Oh, is it? It's just literally just straight CO2.
Yeah, it's just
Either
it
way,
hits the air and it's like an expanding foam.
He wiped it off with his
Oh,
towel.
we cleaned it off.
He dabbed it.
Gross.
Dabbed it.
But anyways,
dab.
what's his
Right.
name? Mark doesn't like. He likes
likes
his
them
burgers completely.
Obliterated,
Obliterated.
like hockey puck
Yes.
style. Yeah, that's important for later. You're right. So they get together. They are in his ice cream truck cruising Sunset, and we get this montage. Now, dude, again, because you lived in California, was LA this crazy in the 80s?
Yeah, man, I saw all kinds of people walking wild creatures like lions and tigers and bears. Oh my! No, of course not. It's stupid.
But I understood like why the vampires just stayed in their period costume then, because that's
Yeah,
how everybody in
fit
LA
in
was
there.
out there.
Yeah.
I
There's
did
a-
like the lady walking the lion down the street though.
There's a
that was
photo
nice.
That was
shoot,
nice.
video shoot, something happening with this
Well, that
girl.
could have happened.
And the
That's
beach
not-
ball.
I thought it was.
catches the
It
beach
looked like it was
ball.
Katy Perry. Not mistaken.
throwing the ball back and forth
Yes.
to each other. But my absolute favorite part of the entire movie is how all of the vampires could tell at 100 yards.
Yes, I know.
Yeah,
There's
there he
virgins
is.
right over there.
Right there.
Tried
They knew.
three guys in an ice cream truck in downtown, wherever this is, Hollywood or whatever. It's probably pretty accurate. They're like,
They
yeah,
knew.
that's it.
Yeah, there they are, right there.
All that time complaining about how we looked everywhere, and then the guys, they're 100 yards down the street, like the Leo DiCaprio meme.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
I thought that was hilarious. Yeah,
Just dropped
That was
right in
so
their lap.
funny.
Dudes wearing suits, cruising ice
Yes.
cream trucks.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
Yeah.
I just have a sense about me. I
Oh.
feel like a virgin is watching this right now. You know what I'm talking about.
I suppose
That
if you
virgin
see
is watching us right now.
Yeah,
three guys dressed for the club in an ice cream truck.
Right.
that's so funny.
Yeah, they knew.
And then they tried taking it up to some restaurant, following these chicks in that seemed
Yeah.
Right.
interested in them. And the valet's like, get that out of
Get
here.
outta
that
here.
thing
Get your
outta
ice cream
here.
truck outta here,
Try
man.
That ice cream truck.
They end up at this singles bar with these lip phones. Now, again, I don't know if this was a thing. I'd never seen this before.
My wife and I thought it was
heard of
pretty
it.
nifty.
Dial a date. Yeah.
heard
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've never
Yeah.
actually seen it, but I've heard
Just
of it.
calling tables.
That's an interesting idea. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it was,
sitting there talking,
yeah.
I mean,
just
I
kind of
could
see people from a distance and just call up their.
All I remember like watching USA Network up all night, and you're up too late, and you start getting those commercials for the chat line.
Yeah.
Girls in your
don't
neighborhood
see
want to
those
talk
much
to you.
anymore.
Yeah.
Right, And so this is
Well,
basically
streaming
that,
everything now, I guess.
but in person.
Yeah,
Exactly
pretty much.
what happened.
Yeah.
Girls in your
Especially in that
neighborhood.
first table he went to.
It's true.
Where Arnold Schwarzenegger was sitting there. Yeah. Listen, hello, you little sissy, get over here.
Yeah, right. I'm going to tie you up.
Right. Here's the thing. All right. So basically every table has a number.
Yep.
18, 17,
Yep.
16, whatever.
And lip phones.
And lip phones that look like big giant lips. That's the one thing I miss about the 80s is they made some cool phones.
Yeah.
They really
Oh,
did.
yeah,
like
they really
the leather
did.
phone. In
Everybody's
Blind Fury.
phone
You had the
looks the
lip
same
phone.
now.
You had like a Tweety Bird phone, a Garfield. I mean,
You're connected
whatever.
to the wall, but despite
Yeah.
that.
I signed up for
Well, you had a
Sports
cool-ass
Illustrated
phone.
because I got the football
You got
phone.
that right.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
That was
didn't?
the only reason.
Right.
I saw, and you got remember the person had the clear phone was the coolest person in the
Or
neighborhood.
the helmet phone. They had the helmet phones for a little while too. Yeah.
Like if you could have a phone where you could see how it works inside, dude.
Did you notice the giant phone decoration? I thought that was hilarious
Yes.
in the restaurant. It's a giant touchstone phone. It just looked like a cheap one you'd get, but it was just huge.
I
Just
looked
like,
at the number to see if the number, like the last 4 digits, spelled anything out. It didn't.
Oh.
I was disappointed in that.
I'm like 85. Yeah, that's the height of technology. It's touch tone versus rotary. You
Right,
know?
yeah.
And they're like, we're advertising this bad boy. We got touch tones and phones in here to call each other.
I just don't know how Jim resisted the urge to play with that thing. Right? I mean, it was this gigantic phone right next to him. Hello.
He would have.
Did you notice one of them was wearing members only jackets?
Yeah. After I had that whole discussion
gotta
about
have
that.
members only jackets.
Yep.
Still don't know what you're a member to,
Yep.
but you're a member, and it's only for them.
Yep.
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 So
Lucky
basically,
people.
what you could do is if you saw a couple of girls on another table look cute, you pick up the phone and you dial 17 or whatever,
Or the girls could call you.
or they could call you, which
Which that
doesn't
did happen to poor Russ and
Yes.
Jamie. Yeah.
Here's the thing. If these 3 guys are going to be going out to this place and sitting here, I think the bare minimum rule should be Russ doesn't get to answer the phone.
Yeah.
Studs are us.
Yeah.
Like who lets Russ answer the phone out of these
Russ,
3?
well, you know, when you're young guys, you go with the boldest. You think he knows the most. He projected himself. And I got to give it to him. The man was consistent with his pickup line.
Hey, he had
had
it down to a
one.
T.
He was
Charles.
riding that horse.
He had one line.
He was like, it's going to work one day, and that woman who responds will be the one for me.
Listen,
Yes.
hi, I'm Russ. I'm a Sagittarius. Like, you're a mature person.
I'm
I'm
a
a mature person. Why don't we just drop the BS and
Yeah.
do what we want to do?
Dude, yeah. That was his line, man.
You being
Every
serious
time.
right now?
See, it does work.
what?
Look,
See?
it works.
Yeah, you got him.
Huh? It just worked on show.
Yeah.
No.
Did.
Yeah.
No, it didn't.
It seemed like it did.
No, it did. No, it didn't.
I've known you a long time.
It didn't work.
You've never looked at me like that before.
Shut it.
It's
All right.
hey,
Should I
it
protect
seemed
my
like it
button?
worked, man.
Eventually, the Countess calls the table, and she's sitting up at the bar and calls Mark over. Hi, are you the one with the red tie? Come on over.
Yeah.
He comes over there. He's super awkward.
Oh yeah.
He has no game whatsoever.
And I love this because you could see it was like the genesis of Jim Carrey, right? Because it was kind of like Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey.
Yes,
A little bit, yes.
Yeah.
Like the early version
Right.
of that silliness.
Yeah.
He does everything he can do to ruin it. He's not interesting or anything, but she does a great job of playing
Yes.
like she cares what he's talking about. Like, you know that conversation when a guy's having with a girl and the girl has to pretend like she cares like what he's
Yeah.
saying?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
She nails that.
And obviously
Even though
she
he's
has
because she
ton
has
more-
she has 40 years of experience
Yeah,
as a
right.
woman.
400 years.
In her case,
Well,
400.
yeah, how old was she? She was almost 400, right?
400,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I have to say, well, I'll say it when we get there.
As Jamie and Russ are sitting there waiting for Mark to talk to the Countess, they get over to a couple of girls' tables.
there's another cougar table in
Yeah,
there.
they're a little bit older than them. And all of a sudden, one of their husbands, Harry, walks into the bar.
Harry's not happy.
He's not happy.
Harry had a letter
He
from
had
some other
all
guy.
kinds of stuff going on.
He thought, oh, so you're Chester? I have read this
Called
filthy
his
letter.
wife a pedophile. He was going after her.
And then he pulled out a gun.
He had a gun in his waistband.
Everything's fine.
Yeah.
It's almost a
It's not
mass
fine.
shooting
It's
in
good.
there. The bouncer gets him,
The big old bouncer.
and the Countess uses this melee, so to speak,
Yep.
to scoot out
Yeah,
the back
'cause-
door.
So that's kind of like
Mark
a
wanted to go
trope,
over
isn't
to his
it?
buddies, and she's like, just stay out of it.
Melee and scoot out the back door.
She's like, well, you don't want to go to jail, do you? Like, even Sebastian
Yeah.
tells him that out
Yeah.
in the out.
Can I say that those guys drink beer like they're from Wisconsin?
house?
There's a lot of beer. on
yeah.
the
Oh, when it
table.
cut back to them?
Yeah. My wife was like, how long have they been there? That's a lot of beer.
Hey, they could be there all night, and I didn't think anyone
Here's
was
an
going to call
interesting
them.
question. Maybe some of our viewers know
Yes,
this.
please.
In 85, in Los Angeles, was it legal for 18-year-olds to drink alcohol?
I was thinking about that. When did the law change at 21? Because I thought it was sometime in the 80s.
In 85 was still legal for 18-year-olds.
I think
because
it
they don't
was.
even have a plot point in there about a fake ID or anything.
No.
like that.
Because they just walked in the club.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But then he gives her a fake age when she asks him.
Yes. And a fake major. And
College, yeah.
He's
like he put two
people
things
think I'm
together that
18.
don't even go together from like a career standpoint. It's like a nuclear physicist.
I wonder if he's just doing that
saving
'cause he
dolphins
didn't
or
want her to
whatever.
know how. Yeah, that was so funny. Yeah. And she's like, I love a smart man. I'm like, he's an idiot. What he said doesn't even, they're like non sequitur connected jobs.
I love intelligent men. All right, so she takes him back to the mansion for the moment of seduction here.
I have a note here that his expressions throughout that whole interaction with her, and he's really good
Very
at that.
genuine.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's very
Right?
good. You feel his awkwardness. He's got that goofy clumsiness going
Yeah.
on.
The two of them worked well together.
I thought so.
thought
they
so.
really honestly
they did.
Yes,
did.
they had chemistry, I thought.
Lauren Hutton.
She did a really nice upper class, cougar seductress.
Yes. Seductress.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, and obviously Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey, it really worked well.
No, I
together.
believe it when she's flirting with him.
Yeah.
Even though she doesn't mean any of it,
No.
right? But
Right.
you buy it.
Yeah.
The whole thing, even when she starts, I mean, she gets into his lap here. Well, I'm getting too far. First,
hold
she
on.
says,
Hold on.
you want anything to drink was when she's drinking out of the John Wayne jug
Yeah.
for her blood.
She had to get her whole blood.
And he goes, same as you. And she gives a great little look and everything like,
like,
no, I'm not going to do that. Pours him some wine. I'm going to go slip into something more comfortable. She goes into her room and she goes, Sebastian, get out of the closet.
Yeah. And that happened several times.
And he says, I love his line back. He's like, I've been out of the closet for hundreds of years or
Yeah.
centuries or whatever
Centuries.
he said.
And they keep doing that too. Every time she looks for him, he's always in the closet.
Yeah. It's like,
I thought the gag was
Okay,
a little dumb
guys,
after the
I was
first
like,
time.
how many times are you going back to the well?
Well, I think
on
he
this
liked
one?
her clothes. He was in
5.
there hanging out with her clothes.
Oh, the scarf.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah, he
scarf.
said the
He's, like,
scarf.
playing around with her clothes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good stuff. She, Sebastian's doing her makeup.
makeup.
But that was hilarious too because it looks like a mirror. You see it sideways. She's sitting on
Yeah.
one side, he's on the other, and
Yep.
then it goes.
He's
There's
going
no
right
glass
through,
in the
yeah.
mirror. He's just putting on makeup. 'Cause she's a
Well,
vampire.
She can't put on makeup herself.
Right. Yeah, I love that
because
part.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think
Make
about
me
that.
look beautiful.
Yeah, didn't you realize that?
She can't
No, I
see
just
herself
thought it
in
was
the
a
mirror.
stupid 80s thing.
No.
Well, also the little. I mean, they did kind of add some nice little actual vampire things. When he asks for her name, she doesn't give the name. Just call me Countess.
Yeah.
Right.
Ah,
If you know the vampire's name, there's a big thing about that as well. You know,
is it like power over him or something?
a little bit.
So-
yeah. Okay.
I'm such a moron.
Yeah. You didn't get that?
No, I didn't get
was
it at all.
hilarious. That
I'm
was
a
funny.
dingus.
Yeah, he's reaching through.
That was a nice touch.
Yeah.
The like a mirror, but it's not the mirror.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
putting
putting on her makeup.
That's why she's. That's why she's asking him, "How do I look?"
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But
The
Mark,
thing I thought was hilarious too is she puts on more comfortable clothes that look exactly like the clothes she was wearing before.
Which
Like
is that-
same-
then
less
same-
comfortable.
they look
That
less
then
comfortable.
begs the question, right? Because he rode with her in the limo to the house. He didn't. Wouldn't he have thought something when he didn't see her reflection in the window of the limo
or the rearview mirror.
or the rearview mirror?
Was drunk.
He was pretty drunk.
That's
Probably
that's
just
fair.
I
staring
think
right
I could
here
tell
yeah,
you
he's
that.
just staring right at her
They were just like-
anyways.
they sit down on the couch. She literally starts to lay in his lap, and he's just going off. He talks to me. He's like, "Oh, that's such a nice place. Oh, you got pillows too. Nice."
Oh, my family's got pillows too, and
family.
my family and my grandmother, and
My mom would probably like to borrow that.
Yeah,
that
he
quilt
starts
pattern.
talking about everything to kill the mood possible.
I know he doesn't want it.
I have to say I like this because I thought it's pretty jerky of him. Let's just be honest. His girlfriend
Yes.
says, I want to wait. I'm not
Yeah.
ready yet." And he's like, "Okay, I'm not happy, but okay." And then his buddies and him rile up to go find basically casual sex, maybe even a prostitute
Right.
who's willing to pay, right?
Right.
yep, $5.
He's kind of a jerk. So here he's in this situation where he really all of a sudden realizes, oh, maybe this is not what I really want.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, this is really uncomfortable, this woman coming on to me. This is not what I was expecting. So I thought that was pretty funny.
I think he walks a very fine line. It would have been very easy. I should say maybe it's impressive that Jim was able to play the character and keep him from becoming hateable. You talk about
Yes,
like
yes.
Right.
Sean Astin in
Yes.
Encino Man,
Yes.
where but like he
was
does
just
it.
a jerk.
He played it in such a way where you're just like, ugh, I just hate this guy.
Right.
No, he's still, yeah.
He toes the line.
He's
Yep.
right.
but he's still likable.
Because you have to make him likable.
You're
but
still
he's
kinda rooting
also-
for him.
He's also actively cheating on his
Yes.
Right.
girlfriend.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
In fact, I was watching this with my wife, daughter, and son, and one of them said, she's She broke up with him already, right? I'm like, no, I don't think so.
no.
They hadn't broken up. So I'm like, no, he's just being a jerk.
Yeah, and she what appears to be happening is not actually happening. Her head disappears from the frame.
She starts biting his buttons on
Not
his shirt.
before
Oh,
the
I
whole
say the
buttons, man.
buttons.
Don't forget the buttons.
Her head disappears into his lap, and you think one thing's possibly happening, but instead you just hear him go, "Ow!"
Yep.
And
Because
then
he's getting the femoral artery.
Yes.
is getting bit.
Yep.
She's pretty good at closing that off.
Because once you
bad
puncture
boy,
that
it'd be
thing,
bad news. You want to hear an interesting story? Horrible tragedy.
oh please,
Chuck Taylor.
Let's bring it down.
So I worked at the Church of California, and the maintenance guy had a long history of lots of different jobs.
Yeah.
And he told us this horrible story of these young men that were carrying this very large, I don't know, it was a mirror, piece of glass or something across the street. And they dropped the mirror, and it slit this guy's femoral artery, and he bled out there.
right on the spot,
Right on the spot, because they couldn't stop it.
bro. That's no joke.
Yeah,
that's
it's
once
really,
that thing
really
goes.
seriously. Yeah.
it's literal seconds.
Yes. Yeah, it was a horrible story. He felt so bad. But so I'm like, after thinking about this, going, how does she close that off?
Right, because he doesn't even realize it's
It
there.
also could explain why she only needs apparently a couple seconds to get the blood, because it just shoots out like a fire hose.
That's what we
baby.
needed. A shot. I was just going, jeez.
Right. Get that shot.
That's why
got
when
some-
you try.
She's got some venom in there that singes off.
It's like when you drop a couple Mentos and Diet Coke. You're
Yeah,
like,
exactly. See, that's why he has some orange juice in the morning because he
Yeah,
Did you catch
Right.
that?
Yes.
Yes. They give him orange
They give him
juice
orange
because
juice
he
in the
just
morning.
gave a whole bunch of blood.
gave a bunch of blood.
Yeah, I like that. It was funny too.
Yeah. So the next morning,
research on this one.
he wakes up and he's like, "Wow, it finally happened. Did I enjoy it?"
Yeah, did I enjoy it? Yeah.
And he's
don't
Sebastian
remember
brings him
much.
his
Yeah,
orange
his
juice.
orange
And his
Juice.
buttons.
He's all happy, and he's like, later blood, which was one of the cringiest parts of the
Yes.
entire
Yeah.
movie. And he just
But
instead
the
of
fact
giving
that
him
he calls
Yeah.
him blood,
yeah,
he's a vampire.
yes, which
Yeah.
is also great. And Cleavon Little just drops the
buttons.
buttons into his hand.
That's
Salt base.
So yeah, this
He
salt,
has-
salt base, his
He has
buttons.
such Sebastian Little has such great expressions on his face.
He
like
killed
his
it.
contempt for this whole situation and all these people, but his love for the vampire lady, the Countess.
He legitimately
He
cares
about her.
He likes her clothes.
Yeah.
Not her.
If I have to say, if I was part of a vampire harem, I guess that's what
Yeah,
we call that.
sure we'll call
I'd,
that.
I'd be a part of that.
brood.
One.
You'd be the
They were
butler?
pretty
You'd be
chill.
the butler?
I don't know if I'd be the butler, but I thought Sebastian would be a nice guy to work
No,
with.
as vampire broods go,
Yeah, I mean, they
it
were
seems
pretty
like
chill.
It was
They
a
were
decent,
enjoying life. They,
Yeah.
they weren't like over.
They seem like fun-loving
No, I mean, if I have to
vampires.
be internal servitude to a group of vampires, it could do worse than
yeah,
them.
I think you'd do far worse than that.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. So off he goes. Back at school the next day. The first clue is he wants an uncooked burger
Yeah.
Yeah.
from the lunch. Like, give me one of those raw
Maybe
ones.
one of
Give
those-
me a rare
First of
one.
all,
That
the
just
hell
kinda
lunch
wrong.
lady is giving you a raw burger.
Yeah, seriously.
Why is there raw burgers right there anyway?
Exactly.
Everything is pre-cooked. But whatever,
They
though.
cooked that 2 years ago.
Yeah, you did.
I'm like,
It's been frozen for 12.
no school.
The chicken nuggets
Yeah.
didn't come in today. Get those burgers we cooked 2 years ago.
No high school has that fresh of burgers anywhere in the country.
No.
I
No.
guarantee you that.
But
Yeah.
the general lunch line definitely brought me back.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the general, the way they had everything set up, and that's at the end was the milk carton.
Yes.
Yep.
That was like,
Dude,
yeah,
that was accurate.
that was accurate.
But I guarantee you, what did not remind you is that did you notice there's no indoor cafeteria?
They all eat outside.
They all eat
inside.
outside. And did you notice the walkways? My school looked exactly like that.
Really?
Yes. There's no internal like cafeterias. It's all outdoors. There's outdoor seating areas.
You know what's
Those
interesting is
walkways.
it looked like the school from Karate Kid, which also was in
Yep.
California.
I mean, I'm telling you, all those Southern California.
Yeah.
That's how all of them are.
that's
There's no,
crazy.
there's buildings, but there's no covered walk. Well, there's covered walkways, but there's no sealed walkways.
And they're so rich down there. You could build a roof.
No,
Yeah,
they
you
don't
don't
have
need it.
snow
There's
down
no
there, man.
snow.
They don't have cold
We
freaking
hardly
weather.
get rain.
That's why we had indoor stuff.
Right.
We go to school in the winter.
Yeah. The annoying thing
That's
though.
the way we did it, and we liked it that way.
The annoying thing though is that occasionally you do get years like the ones they just had called El Nino, where you do get decent amount of rain, and then you're screwed because there's no
stands
place
for
to go.
the Nino.
The
So inside of some of those hallways, there were some covered hallways in the buildings, So you just sit in the
There you
hall,
go.
eat your
All right.
lunch
Yeah.
because you can't be outside. It's weird.
Do you ever
It's
see
very
Chris
much
Farley
looking back.
do El Nino
Oh,
bit?
I love that bit.
There's a Chris Farley on SNL one time did
a wrestler,
He was a
wasn't he?
wrestler, but it was on the Weather Channel, and he was like, he gets like, I am El Nino. All other tropical storms will bow before El Nino. Yo soy El Nino. For those of you who don't habla español, El Nino is Spanish for the Nino. I had to get it out of my brain, or I
Had
wasn't
to.
going to be able to think
Right.
of
I don't
anything
blame
else.
you. You have to.
All right, Russ and Jamie are sitting in the Russ in his his licensed gynecologist shirt.
Yeah.
Just terrible. They're sitting there and they won't shut up about the night before and oh man, did you score with her? Oh dude, she was so hot. Robin is
Right there.
Right there.
She's
Right
next table.
there.
and your idiot friends can see her.
Yeah.
I know he couldn't, he didn't know.
Yeah, his
but
back.
they're facing her.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, her back was turned, but still, they
Everybody
know
knows what
she
your
looks like.
girlfriend
could
looks
hear.
like.
Right.
Seriously.
Sound moves.
Robin gets up and she goes off on Mark, and Mark is surprisingly casual about he's like, I don't know, maybe I slept with her. I don't know.
He's so
Yeah.
clueless.
I don't remember. I
This
passed
guy.
out. I was drunk.
Yeah, right.
What's the big deal? I got drunk. I can't remember. She's
Yeah, I know. Like that's an excuse. I got drunk. I don't know.
I was drunk, man. She bit my buttons off. I don't know if I slept. I think maybe I did. I don't know if I did.
I will give him props for honesty.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
but
true.
but he's clueless about what he's putting her through
No.
and the appropriateness of his behavior.
I think that just goes to his awkward nature overall. Just like, I don't know, maybe I did.
Yeah, he did tell the Countess when she said, "Or I'll see you again." He's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I don't know."
Yeah, he was
I've
like,
been in a serious relationship, and
She's like, I've often been the other woman.
yeah,
I don't care.
Yeah, and he's like, "Okay." I guess he did. Like, all right, okay, I'll make that work. I guess that's true. It wasn't. Then he
figure
gives
that
him
out.
ice cream, which I thought was.
Robin, in response to his casualness, does give one of my favorite lines of the whole movie. You threw away our relationship for a one-night stand with a slut who eats buttons?
I liked Robin's character. She stood up for herself. She's like, "Are you crazy?"
Well, she stood up for herself for two scenes, and then,
yeah,
you know,
well.
but she gives him back the ring,
Yes.
and he
I
says,
love what he said. What am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah.
use your imagination.
He's so clueless. He's so-
Mark starts to exhibit some other strange behavior, like sleeping
Yeah.
in his trunk in his house.
Yes, Dad comes in. It's like, Mark, we're concerned about you. Your mother is.
Look,
You up all night, was tramping around the house.
why does that guy look so old?
Yes, I was
I
going to
know.
say.
The mom-
I don't
Yeah.
know why they push the age of these kids.
Yeah.
Because they're supposed to be high school kids.
Yeah, they're like 18.
So they're 18.
Yeah.
Seniors,
Why,
yeah.
why? Obviously, he's an only child.
Right.
Right.
So they must have had him when they were 40.
52.
40 or 50.
Yeah.
52.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're 70 something.
Yeah.
But then I thought about the 80s. Like even Lauren Hutton looked like she was in her 50s
Yeah.
in the movie. She's only 43.
It's just the hairstyle thing.
But in the
It's whole-
80s, everyone look. You ever see a picture of somebody from the 80s
They
when they're
seem to
42
look older, yes.
and it looks like they're 65?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean-
and I'm always horrified.
You look at like All in the Family, Archie Bunker. We were just
Yeah.
talking about this last night.
Yeah.
And geez, what was
Guys.
the other show? But they're all like 48, but they you know when they
Guys.
did these shows,
Yeah.
but they're like
Guys.
60. They look like they're
Guys.
60.
And in another like 30 years, 40 years, this is what old people are going to look like.
No, but I know. I'm
It's
just
all
saying.
it's
Yeah.
all time.
I know.
Time perspective.
Right.
I don't know if
That's
it's
what
because
it is.
everybody was smoking cigarettes.
I think it might-
or
Yeah, that
what
was probably
they
part of
just
it.
Looked
Smoking
older,
cigarettes, living in LA, no sunscreen.
dude. All that
Yeah, I was
stuff.
gonna mesothelioma, just killing
Well,
everybody.
Dad was born in 28.
I was just gonna say that, but after I thought about that, I thought he might be 37 years old. I mean, just that's how old they looked in the 80s.
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I kind of got to let that go. Anyway, Mark has his first
Yeah,
dream
he was only
sequence.
57, so that actually wouldn't be
That's what
too
I'm
wrong.
saying, dude.
Yeah.
He looked 77.
He looked
He did.
older.
He did.
Yes.
All right, and so he has his first dream sequence. It's almost like the Dumb and Dumber dream sequence when they're
Yeah.
smoking and
Smoking, yeah.
at the table, and he's lighting her cigarette, and all that
She
stuff.
comes in with her
I
finger
love that
lit.
part. He lights it in flames. Such great physical comedy he has there.
I know, but can we cool it on the fog machine? though?
Oh my gosh, she's like more fog, more fog.
Get more fog.
At one point, even Jim Carrey was like blinking when the fog's hitting him in the face.
But the fact that he was still awkward in his dream, which I thought it was nice.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's
Yeah.
funny.
he's literally dreaming of himself being like, the perfect, suave guy, and he's still screwing it up.
screwing it
Like
up.
he's got the cigarette case, and he gets the cigarette, and he's trying to put it back in his
I saw
pocket.
you missed
And he's
that. I
missing
think
it.
struggling.
That was so
When you don't have any Riz in your own dream, that's
pretty bad.
That's
Right.
pretty bad,
That's
man.
pretty rough.
And you remember when smoking was sexy? I mean, they literally just like, yeah, baby, let me just
Two
blow.
cigarettes. They did that a lot in this.
I was gonna blow some smoke directly into your face, and this is like that used to be like
Silver tip cigarettes.
a thought to be like a sexy, attractive thing.
Not anymore.
And it's just like, let me huff cancer out of your mouth. That's all I'm thinking about while I'm watching this. Going, oh, they're just blowing
where the
smoke in each other's
Right.
faces.
With the fog machine going.
Right, so I felt bad for Jimmy. There literally is a dude looks like probably named Otis right off camera with this giant fog machine. Multiple times, go back, it's like blowing fog
Right.
into the frame. Jim is blinking. He's like, oh my god,
It was. I don't know if I.
blowing smoke in his face.
I don't know if it was every single time, but I noticed at least one time where the smoke came in and they almost it was so much smoke, the score of the music like came up and then came down with the amount of it was like so it was like a dramatic thing like that would happen.
Right.
Like I don't know if that happened every single time, but it was like
I noticed that too.
Bro.
Yeah, the crescendoed with the amount of fog going on.
I know.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. All right, so Mark,
we need to
ends up-
capture that fog. We need to feel that
Hey.
fog. We need to hear it.
We need music. Give me more fog. This is the crescendo of this piece.
Once bitten.
Yeah, there's a song in there.
Gosh.
Yeah, I have the lyrics
That
up here. You won't feel no pain.
Pain, boy.
Once bitten.
Yeah, yeah.
We're singing in the rain when lightning strikes. Oh, your heart's gonna be mine forever.
It's nice.
It's literally singing the plot.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I love that part of the '80s movies.
They got their
that's
money's
very
worth
common.
out of that song.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
They got their money's. Usually, most movies they'll have some kind of a song like that written for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they'll play
Opening credits,
a
maybe.
10-second clip of it during transitions or something like that. No, they let that sucker play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially during them when they were going into Hollywood.
Yes.
Yeah.
That scene lasted
A long time.
3-4 minutes.
Dude,
They were like, all right.
if you added up all the time they used the song, it was 17 minutes long.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
17-minute song.
Of
could've
an
cut-
hour and 30 movie.
It's crazy.
They're
They
like,
could've cut
guys,
this
we
movie.
paid $1.5 million for this song.
We're gonna,
Right, this was half our budget. We're gonna make sure we use it. Damn it.
yeah.
Mark ends up making up with Robin the next day. It smoothed it over pretty easily,
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Yeah.
She's basically just like up there talking to her friends. You see one of her friends was Megan Mullany? Or Megan
Yes.
Mullany?
Yeah.
She looked familiar. I didn't get a chance.
Yeah,
to look
I
it up.
saw it in the IMDb. When
What's
I
up
looked at
with
the
Mark?
cast.
His hair looks weird.
Yeah.
In comes Mark with totally normal looking hair.
Right.
Like just slightly combed to one side.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're so weird.
He's
Whatever.
like, what did she say? You're going for? And he's like, no, I was going for De Niro.
De Niro.
De
Yeah,
Niro.
I don't know who.
Can't remember what
And he does one of the faces.
He does
Yeah,
a De Niro
yeah,
face.
he
Yeah.
does the De
He
Niro
does the
face.
De Niro face.
Like his early,
Right.
impersonations. Like
Yeah.
that was
his. Yeah, he was a
was his
impressionist.
thing.
Impressionist.
Oh, was
yeah.
it? Was that his thing?
Yeah, it was. She kind of lets him off the hook. She's like, "Look, man, I want to do it as bad as you do."
Yeah.
There's no such thing, is what he says back to her, and they kind of come to this mutual understanding. You know, you're supposed to say no, and I'm a teenage guy, and I'm supposed to go get mad, and that's
That's
the
1950s.
That's what we
Like,
do.
what do we live in 1950?
Yeah, right.
It's an old-fashioned guy.
They make up. And back at the mansion, the Countess and Sebastian are reminiscing about her tearing apart peasants. And oh, remember when you'd swoop down and look
Yeah.
with fear in their eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good old days.
Good old days.
Can't do that anymore.
I like my vampires that are a little violent and mean. I mean, they're the lords of the undead. They're supposed to be evil and
well,
do
and the
bad
thing
stuff.
is, you got to admit, they're so old. They're
Yeah.
Right.
That's all they're gonna do is sit around and talk about the good old days.
Oh yeah, remember
Right.
that one guy that crapped his pants when you tore his legs off?
Oh my gosh.
That's basically what they're doing.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
sitting there reminiscing about these horrible
good
things.
times, good times.
He goes, maybe it's time for us to, move out into the sticks or whatever. And he goes, suburbia,
Yeah.
PTA meetings, chicken McNuggets.
I love the Mac. Was it like Arby's or no? It wasn't Arby's. There was
don't remember.
some other
Burger
restaurant.
King.
Burger
no,
King.
No, it wasn't Burger
Yeah.
King.
No.
Wasn't it?
Nope.
But just the way he says that, I'm going to say that forever now.
Chicken
now,
Mac
it's
Nuggets.
Chicken McNuggets instead of McNuggets. That
Mac
made I was like tickled pink about that.
Tickle pink.
All right, the Virgin Boys now have a new plan because the club didn't work out. They're gonna go cruise the chicks at the laundromat.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
This is such a great scene.
Okay,
Please, no, go ahead.
Okay, this scene didn't need to exist.
There's no bearing on
There's
anything.
no reason why they had
It's
a
so
scene
funny though.
in this movie.
Nope.
They could have skipped it. They could have cut the music, montages down by half. Could have taken this out, and it would have been a solid hour of awesomeness. Instead, they had this scene, and it was just like, who? Okay, listen, I haven't been to a laundromat in a long time. Okay, I used to have to do my laundry when I was living
There are a
on my
lot
own.
of available women in the laundry.
I don't remember that at all.
He was saying there's bored women at the
Bored.
laundromat.
Yeah, bored.
Not necessarily available women at the laundromat.
That's could be true.
I like the pep talk Russ gives Jamie at the beginning of it. He's serious. He's like, all right, now you got to be prepared for success, right? You got money on you for a hotel room. You got protection. That's how much he believes they're going to score in this laundromat.
Yeah.
Excited.
Okay. And he goes off, and now Jamie goes to talk to the first girl, and then Russ keeps going to the back. And what's funny about that is Russ's line works again. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like,
yeah.
immediately goes like, listen, I'm a mature person. You're a mature person. Let's go do what we want to do. And she's like, sounds good. I'll tie you up. Let's get this thing going. And he panicked.
He panicked.
He did.
That was more than he wanted.
He was like, what?
That's like
he wasn't ready for success.
that's like going 0 to 100 though. You gotta pace that out.
She went to 100.
Yes.
Yes.
He wasn't ready for her
He was
response.
not ready for that.
No.
He was not ready to go to the true danger zone.
It's true. Hey, when you play with fire,
Yeah.
That's right.
He's like, no. That's
In a
too much.
previous life, long time ago, I used to be in sales, and we used to talk about this, like to be prepared for success. And because there were guys that would go through the whole spiel and expect everyone to say no, and when finally say yes, they wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And then they couldn't close the deal because they'd start fumbling all over themselves. And this is immediately what the dude was not prepared to be successful.
Nope.
No.
Now I read this scene though that she just was trying to terrify him.
Oh, you don't
Yeah,
think
yeah,
she
oh,
was
yeah.
I don't
seriously?
think she was interested.
Well, I think both ladies.
The line works, Charles.
It worked.
I don't know.
I think she's like,
It worked twice now.
This
I
kid
think-
can't handle life.
I think both ladies, because he ends up backing out because she's way too aggressive, and then he picks up his friend that's rolling in the dryer, ready to die at a moment's
He
notice.
got stuffed in the
A
dryer.
great visual reveal, by the way.
Yeah, just kind of
You
him.
leave him behind, and when you come back, he's gone, but he's
Gone.
in the dryer.
Yeah.
Yes.
And his clothes are all shrunk.
So I think both ladies knew the BS that these two
Yes.
boys were going to do. Not to mention, it's a quiet laundromat, and they're talking loudly right there.
Oh, you're
And
right.
They're
True, too.
right there. I'm like, we can hear you.
That's what I took the first lady that said, I'll tie you up. I think she was kind of
She
onto
was
him.
like coming. She was gonna scare him away. She's like, this boy doesn't know what he's talking about.
I did like Jamie's. He gets out, and all he says is, she said no.
But there's a moral of the story here. Don't mess with ladies that are in laundromats.
Right.
Right.
Don't.
BS them.
The next scene is at the department store where Robin works, and this clothing store, was so 80s.
Oh, it was
Peak
it was
80s.
big
But we are
time
85,
80s.
mid 80s by
Loved it,
now.
though. I loved it.
Incredible.
It was the best version of the 80s.
I literally like smacked Dana on that. I was like, look at this store.
It was a Taco Bell. It was the inside of a Taco Bell.
I don't know, but it's just perfect.
Yes.
Remember the old style Taco Bell?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
retro? Yeah, that's exactly
Dude,
what. This
right.
is the best of the 80s. The most 80s thing there was.
Yeah, I think the lady's like, I need something white, but didn't it still have like weird flecks on it and stuff, like colorful
Yeah.
checks and things, like our sign, kind of?
like our logo.
Yeah, like
Right.
our logo.
Yeah, right. This looks like it would fit right in that store.
Yeah,
Our Bad
it
Movies
did,
Rule
totally.
logo. That we get a little peek at Jim Carrey doing his Jim Carrey stuff. He's
Bags
trying
with
to
the clothes and
distract
yeah.
Robin while she's helping a customer, and
She's
he's
chuckling a little bit, trying
all
to,
that stuff. And it's like, oh, you can kind of see under there, because I think as we came to know Jim Carrey later in his career, this was still a tamped down version of what he would later on. I think when he got his second chance, so to speak, he was like, I'm just going full bore.
Yeah.
Because you can see a little bit of it in here, but it was a pretty subdued by Carrey standards.
Yes.
Yes.
By
When
Carrey.
did, he really started making it in the 90s, though, right?
94 is when he had his big breakout.
So I think
Yeah.
maybe it was a little too early.
because I think In Living Color started in the
Was it 90?
end of the 80s or 90. Yeah, it was right there, kind of coming out of the 80s into the early 90s. And yeah, In Living Color, and then there was another one of those same type of shows on one of the other networks.
Mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mad. Yeah,
TV.
that was it. Yeah.
So Robin sends him. He picks out some black pants because he's starting to dress in black now. And she's like, "Whatever, go try them on.
He's going straight emo.
I'll find you a sweater to lighten up
He's
or
all
whatever."
emotional, moaning and groaning about everything. I was like, yeah, that kid's turned straight emo.
Too bad he didn't have Fall Out Boy then.
right.
Tonight is the night I'll fall for you.
That's true. If you wanted like,
Because tonight will be the night that I will fall for you. Over again, I feel it in my
You did
head.
it so much better than I did. Thank
Sorry.
you. No, that's great.
I was
no,
trying to take your joke.
I think
No, but you made it. Yeah, because I kind of screwed it up.
I can't get it out of my brain once you put it in there.
the 80s maybe wasn't a great time if you wanted depressing music, was it?
What's what I'm saying?
Not a lot of
not at all.
options
Most
there,
people
no.
had
no options.
Had nothing to. Maybe the
No.
Cure.
Maybe Depeche
Maybe,
Mode.
yeah.
Maybe
There are a
some
few
stuff
like that.
Depressed mode. That's what we used to call those guys. My sister liked them. They suck.
Fit right in when you need that. You're moody teenager. You need to sit in your room and ponder
There
life.
was the Cars. There was what?
I mean, my whole generation grew up
Robert
on that
Palmer,
kind of music.
I mean-
grunge.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of
We were like screw happy 80s.
Oh,
depress-
dude.
the world is
depressing music.
doomed.
We were all up in our fields in the 90s.
Everything's a mess. You're all
Flock of
ruining the
seagulls.
world. We hate our lives.
That's right, man. Gen X. We
Gen
were
X.
the lost generation.
We knew what was happening. we
screw
knew
with us.
our eyes were open.
Don't screw with us.
All right,
Buying your capitalistic crap anymore. Sell me more records, Kurt Cobain.
touched a nerve with
Yeah,
Charles here.
man. Stupid government.
Did you remember to wake Green Day up today?
I actually listened to Green Day on the way over. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Green Day.
I was
Yeah.
worried somebody wasn't going to make them up.
Yeah, Gen X, man. We were the generation that said no to this stuff.
That's right.
We didn't want no happy, colorful clothes.
No more leg warmers. Get that out of
Yeah,
here.
we don't want to show you our
we don't
bodies.
want it.
shoulder pads. Get those out
we
of
want
here.
hoodies and jeans and giant jeans and backward wearing
And then
jean
a
people.
flannel.
Flannel on top of that.
Flannels.
Yes.
The flannel.
And then I'll tie another flannel around my waist.
Yes.
And we'll like it.
Yes.
And then I might put on a flannel backwards
Yeah.
because crisscross.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nah,
Don't ask questions.
Get some spiky hair.
I think it's weird that some of the 80s styles coming back.
I know.
The high cut.
It all comes around.
The mullet.
The snakeskin miniskirt.
Because remember, like
I
bell
don't think
bottoms
this-
came back in the late '90s. I mean, it all comes
the
around
whole
again.
body leotard thing's coming back though.
No. The one like she was sleeping in her
There's like
coffin.
2 women in the world that can pull that off.
No, I know. All right, so he goes into the changing room to change into his pants, and Lauren Hutton, the Countess, is in the changing room with him because she's here for her second transfusion. She's only got
But you
days to go.
can't see her in the mirror.
Right.
Which, hello, this guy's a moron because there's so many clues.
Big moron.
Doesn't see her in the mirror. He's like, come on, you got to leave me alone. This can't go on forever. Forever's just what I had in mind, is what she says to him. And he's like, leave me alone, leave me alone. This whole time, Robin's outside thinking
Throwing
he's talking to
sweaters in
her.
at him. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He keeps chucking the sweaters back
I
over.
like both the sweaters she gave him.
Yeah,
Big
she's
one and
The light
the
blue. I
Countess
told
is
you,
like,
that Carolina
oh,
blue, and I'm like,
light
I want
blue?
this sweater. I'm gonna go to Kohl's later. Got $30 Kohl's cash.
burning
to
a
go
hole
spend.
in your pocket.
Me some light blue sweaters.
I like when she throws a blue one back, and the Countess is like, "Next one better not be pink." And here comes a pink sweater.
She no look catches it. I didn't notice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
She never looks at catches
No.
it
Throws
right
it
back
right
over.
Right back
again.
over. Yeah.
Nice. Again, Lauren Hutton did great in this scene.
was great.
Flirting with him and stuff in the booth, and then all of a sudden you hear another "ow."
Yep.
Yeah.
She
She bites her buttons off.
buttons
Yeah,
up,
buttons off.
Yeah, that's right. Robin comes back over and he's on the ground. She helps him up, and the Countess very smoothly ducks in right behind
Yes.
her.
Right.
Behind her, yeah.
Yeah.
Pushes an old lady on her way out.
Should we talk about that for a second?
Best part.
Because
I loved it. Pushed her right in the rack.
Right, anyway, she like looks at her like, what the?
the unprovoked, she talks to Sebastian. She's like, I got my second transfusion, but he's more tied to this girl than I thought, and it's starting to piss me off. But this old lady didn't
Yeah.
do anything
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
She just unprovoked shoves her into a
To be
Right.
rack.
fair, she
Vampire.
probably wasn't old. She was probably 35.
Yeah,
It
she
is
was.
the 80s after all.
Oh my god! But I loved it. I loved
so
it anyways.
What's up,
Yeah.
old lady? Gonna eat this rack of clothes?
You know, I don't think
You like
the old,
that? Here.
The old lady was
Get
not
a
wearing
closer look.
clothes from that store. Maybe she was shopping for her niece or her daughter or granddaughter.
matter.
It was
funny.
obviously
super
a
funny. I
stunt
love that
person in
scene.
a gray wig.
Yeah. right.
So we need a stunt person
Hey,
to
did
eat
you-
this rack of clothes.
In the back, you see the scene. There's a couple of bystanders, and the guy's like looking up, like, "What the heck did just happen? Like, should I do something?"
one
I'm
arms
like,
are-
Yeah, she does. That was so funny. Well, they're evil vampires. You
I
gotta
know.
remember evil. Shoving
All
old
right.
people proves it.
Mark had some even more strange behavioral episodes that we can go through here. He drinks the meat juice in his kitchen.
That was gross. The mom pouring that
yeah.
juice. Why
Who
is
does that?
why
No
is
one
it-
does that.
Nobody
Saves
does
Puts it in
that.
a cup and leaves it on the counter.
Yeah, that was totally
My wife
done
was
for
like,
the
maybe
plot.
she's gonna make blood sausage or something. I don't know.
I did like his dad, his little comment. He's like, maybe he's anemic.
Yeah,
It's kind of a dad
Be anemic.
way to handle that.
Trying to
situation.
figure things out.
He scares some middle schoolers out at
Yeah, that was dumb. The middle school thing.
hissing
I mean,
at
Pisses
I would
at
be
him.
surprised if I was a kid and I saw that, but I don't know if I'd like run off in terror. You
No,
know,
I'm like,
that.
my ice
what the
cream,
hell,
man.
dude?
Right.
Yeah, what is your
Give my ice
problem,
cream.
dude? Got a brain freeze or something? Been eating
Give my
ice cream?
dreamsicle.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing? Hissing at me. What are you, a cat?
He has another
taco.
dream sequence where this time he's full on Dracula.
Yeah.
Okay.
The most realistic bat I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was so funny.
Lauren Hutton's doing her best to sell it. She's like, "Oh, hello, Mark.
Hello, bats. Please come in.
Oh, hi, Mark."
See the strings pulling the wings.
I
Just
know. It's funny. I think it works because the dream part.
It does,
It's
but-
Yeah,
pretty corny, but I don't know.
I think it was meant to be
But
that
bro,
way.
he wakes up and he's still like at this point you don't know what the hell's going
I
on.
know, he's a little-
You're having
Right.
straight up dreams that you're a vampire. You've been bit twice. He's like, I don't know what's going on with me, man.
I might be anemic.
So stupid. He still doesn't get it.
Turn it into an emo, man. That's what it is.
It starts to look pale.
Well, this
Right.
is the next.
Getting
So,
paler, yeah.
talking about looking like an emo. The next
Yeah.
thing is the dance, the school dance,
Yeah.
and he rolls up there looking. He's all black.
all black.
Yep.
Collar up.
Black
Black
shades.
sunglasses. Black hair slicked back. But he keeps telling everybody, "I'm not wearing a costume."
Yeah, he's like, you were
I didn't wear
supposed
a
to come as
costume.
Jack.
Oh, you're a vampire. I'm not wearing a costume.
wearing a costume.
I will
Pissed off.
I will say this. I know a lot of people who are very goth, very
Yeah.
and they wear that stuff on a daily basis.
Oh, sure.
And that is a very common thing that people say to you.
Really? They
Say
say
to them
vampires?
constantly. No,
Really?
not vampires. Just
I
is
like
this
your
a costume? Are you wearing a
Yeah,
costume?
sure, yeah.
Interesting.
No, it's not a costume. This is just the way I like to look.
I gotcha.
But that happens a lot
Interesting.
Oh, I
to a
bet.
lot of these people I know.
Interesting.
yeah, because Robin shows up as Jill from sorry, Robin, dumb costume idea. Who
Yeah, that
dressed
was
up as
dumb.
Jack and Jill? I would have dressed as something else if I was your boyfriend too.
They're pretty good costumes there. Saw Darth Vader.
Yeah, they had
Like,
good
blow up
costumes.
That was the
bug-head
only
guy.
one.
Except for Jill.
Jill was terrible.
Jill was
Shit.
I saw Darth Vader. I thought I saw a Spider-Man in there too, but maybe I didn't.
maybe.
I don't.
His
think
buddy
there
was supposed to be Gandhi, but couldn't
Gandhi.
find the glasses, so he went as Yul Brynner. I thought
Yeah.
that was pretty funny.
That's good.
Yo. But and again, you have to answer this if it's a California thing, Charles, or if I just didn't go to the right schools. Another movie trope in all these dances, they always have a live slamming band. I never had a
Yeah.
live
Yeah.
band.
Me either.
Once.
No.
Do you remember that one virgin we were talking about?
Yeah.
Well, he never went to very many dances, so I can't really help you with that. So.
Makes sense.
I
Makes sense.
can't answer that one for you. You'd have to ask some people that went to those.
We always had DJs.
We always
We
had
never had a live
But
band.
in every movie I
Ever.
see, there's a live band.
Right.
But I do miss the streamers.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Remember
Yeah.
the streamers
No.
that
Yes.
they put everywhere? Like
Yes.
that was the
Only in the
decoration.
movies.
You'd walk through the door and it's just streamers,
I don't do
streamers
that
going
anymore.
all over.
I
yeah.
remember hanging
What's that?
streamers.
They don't do
from everything.
streamers, homecoming.
I don't know if they do it
for your
now.
daughter?
I mean, back in
It's
the
a fire
day,
hazard now.
back in the day, it was like
Could
somebody
be.
left the streamer box open and we went to town. That's
Yep.
that's
They
like
did it.
that's how it looked inside.
Like they just had a streamer cannon just shooting
Yeah,
these things
right.
all over. Yeah.
I
we
miss
never
those
had a
days.
band.
I was
though.
talking with one of the students, and they were talking about homecoming for Burlington High School. If you don't know, they're the demons.
Yeah. Oh,
And
that's
their,
right, yeah.
Their theme was like demons. So she was like, it was pretty lame
right.
because all they did was just decorate the colors they normally do.
Yeah.
Do anything. Like it wasn't a very
stupid.
creative.
Imaginative.
Well, I thought, what? It's like hell. Is that what it's like?
Yeah, are we doing
what,
like
it's
a
hell
Dante's
pit or
Inferno?
something?
Welcome
Yeah,
to the
like
homecoming from
fire
hell.
everywhere.
Right.
Dun, 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 dun,
All they play is
This was
Peter-
called the
Peter
Halloween Hop.
Stormare's there waiting and
all they play is Megadeth, the whole dance. All right, so he gets to this dance.
Tenacious D comes out, fights the devil with their songs.
with the pick of destiny.
Come on,
So they
awesome.
they're having the dance, and while they're on the dance floor, all of a sudden the Countess is there, dressed like Zatara from DC Comics or whatever, or Zatanna. I don't remember which one what her name is, but that's what she had, like a magician outfit on, and starts dancing on Mark.
Yeah.
And then
Cuts in.
Robin gets upset about that, and
Starts dancing too.
she starts dancing, and I'm like, that's great. We're gonna have a dance battle, which we'll get into in a second here. I love a good '80s dance battle.
Yeah.
But nobody's wondering why the 50-year-old
Yes, I thought that too.
grinding on a student
No.
in the middle of the gym.
Not even a thought.
Not even a
No
thought.
one
No.
cared. Is there supposed to be this? Is some like she's chaperone?
Just,
She's
I was going to say,
chaperone?
just
She's
a
chaperone?
friendly chaperone.
Yeah.
I mean, extra
What
friendly
is going
chaperone.
on?
Could have been his mom for all
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
It's the 80s.
Maybe it's because I work with students, so I think about
Yeah,
this. But
yeah.
I'm the first thought is I'm like, we needed at least one shot of another teacher or saying like, whose parent is out
Yeah,
there?
what's happening?
You're right.
So what's
I thought
happening?
the same thing. I'm like, you just roll up as like a
Instead,
50-year-old.
the principal's just like, yeah, all right.
All right, let's do it. Let's
Get
do
it.
man.
Principal had too much of the punch, I
Yeah,
guess.
punch,
He
that
just-
punch coffin was cool. They were serving punch out of a little coffin thing. That was pretty.
and, I guess they probably spiked the punch. The principal's
Yeah,
just like,
maybe.
oh, I don't give a
probably.
crap, whatever.
But I don't care
Hey,
what you guys say.
This
I don't
band's
care.
slamming.
I don't care what you say, James. That dance battle was
Was
pretty
awesome.
epic.
That was
great.
awesome.
Yes.
It was by far the best part
Yes.
of this entire movie.
Hands
And trust me,
off.
I've seen enough cliche battles
Right.
of like,
Right.
BMX bikes
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
stupid 80s cliche, 70s cliche,
This one was
whatever.
well
And
done.
I've seen that all, and I'm just like, I hated them all. I'm always like, I always phase out every time that comes on. I'm like, this is lame. I was
They
sucked
were
in.
into
Oh,
that
I
one.
loved
Then
it.
you get Jim
Right.
Carrey playing the being torn between the
And
two
he's
of them.
doing his physical comedy,
Doing
doing
his
the
physical
leg
comedy.
guitar, doing Jim Carrey thing.
You got the '80s song that's talking about
Hands
what's
off.
happening.
Was that,
Yes,
that was
that
like
was
the
a
band.
banging song.
I haven't heard that song in a while. I
Hands
like that song.
off.
Yeah.
Song.
And it was
My
like the-
man's not a vampire. Hands off.
What's the girlfriend's
Stop
name?
biting his
Robin.
Robin's hands
Robin.
off.
She was incredible dancer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good dancer.
She's all white.
She's
Yeah.
all white and
she's
Countess all black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jim's going back and forth.
And he's
between the two of
torn
them.
between the
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
And he has moves.
Yeah.
Like he's
Oh,
not
yeah.
like super. He's got his weirdness, but he's still
He plays
very.
his leg guitar. He does his little
Yes.
thing, right?
Yeah.
I freaking
It was fun.
loved that.
It was
spot.
very fun.
I loved it.
Yeah.
You know what? I do love it. And I want to say this. Why can't we just settle our differences like this?
Seriously.
Where would the world be
a
my
lot
gosh.
better.
Dance off?
if we just had a dance off every time
Well,
people
Yeah.
had a
You and me, bro.
I-
Dance
That's
off
what I'm saying.
right now.
Right, dance off
right
Do
now,
it.
bro.
Let's go.
I would be in serious trouble because I can't dance at all, so I would lose every dance-off battle.
But
there
you could have a
is.
proxy, maybe do
maybe,
a dance.
yeah,
Like
that's
think
true.
about like
That's true.
robot jocks when
Yeah,
you have
Yeah.
like
That's true,
somebody
that's true.
be your
Or
dance
You,
battle
you
champion.
assign your champion.
That's
Yep.
true. In old dueling, you used to be
I
able
was
to
gonna
find
say,
a proxy
yeah.
if you needed
You
it.
can do like a Game of Thrones. You can just name your champion.
That's what I'm
Let
saying,
somebody
dude.
dance
Yeah.
for you to the death.
How many?
Forever
how many-
remember the scene where the mountain crushes poor guys.
How much more harmonious would that be? Right? Just think of
Yeah.
the world we could live in.
Yeah, that'd be great.
More dance battles, less battles.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Be awesome. Anyway,
Robin wins though.
Robin wins. Yeah, she Countess storms off. She a couple times during the dance tries to bite him for the third time.
Yeah.
and he like pulls his hand away at the last minute, and eventually they finish the dance, just the two of them, Mark and Robin, and she storms off.
Pushes a kid down.
Yeah, a nun,
just a kid.
A nun. Kid
Dressed up as a nun.
Yes. It was the nun
right.
kid, yeah.
Does she push him or does he just fall over because
No,
of her
she
evilness?
pushed him.
Does
She gave
push
him the stiff arm. Like she's Bo Jackson running out of the gym, just stiff armed his ass.
That's right.
Techno Bowl.
Sebastian was in that crowd too, and he would have stood out significantly as well.
Mark,
On Nintendo. The
what's
OG
pretty impressive.
Nintendo.
What's impressive is Mark wins the costume contest, and he wasn't even wearing a costume.
Not even wearing a costume,
That's
guys.
pretty good.
Gosh, idiots.
He kind of takes off. Robin follows
out.
after him, and they have their discussion in the hallway.
Really emotional right now.
This is the first time he says, "I think the Countess is a vampire."
Yeah.
And I think I'm being turned into one.
Yep.
Look at my reflections
And then he
going.
notices reflection first.
Which at first
wasn't
it's
there.
not there, it's there, it's not there. But then finally Robin looks and his reflection is gone, and so
Yep.
she believes him now.
Yep.
And this is a moment of realization for him, which took him, I don't know, it's like 47 signs. I thought about Bruce Almighty when he's like, Lord, give me a sign. Remember that? And there's just like a car full of signs, a truck.
Don't go this way.
And
turn
then-
around.
Yeah.
I feel like the same thing. He had like 47 signs, and now he's
They're
finally
all
like,
there,
I think I
finally.
might be turning into a vampire.
And Robin light goes on. Oh, you didn't have sex with her?
Oh,
You
yeah.
couldn't
She's
have.
very excited about
Well, she goes to the bookstore.
Oh,
Yeah, oh,
gosh.
gosh,
the book
yeah.
store.
And the
bookstore.
weird, awkward. I don't know if he
yeah.
was trying to do. If
He
he was like an
was.
Indian
He
was
accent or a
terrible.
German
I
accent.
think it was Indian, and it was
no.
unfortunate.
But he looked German.
Yeah.
He's totally.
Was he? I don't know. It was kind of like an Austrian German
I
accent.
think he was trying to do an
thought.
Austrian
He's
German
I
trying
got
to do
Indian
it.
vibes all the way.
but he
but
was.
instead he started like this.
Yeah.
sounded like a
If
poo.
you
Yes.
look up the vampires,
Yeah,
they're
he-
very good.
Yeah.
Because I think they
didn't-
wanted.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think they
yeah.
wanted something where again they from Transylvania, so they
Right.
wanted some kind of Austrian.
That would make a
you
lot
know,
more sense.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the guy had the
He
worst
could not do
he
it.
could not do it.
accent in the world.
No.
Okay, but how did she know? Like, oh, there's a vampire expert at this bookstore over here. Let me go ask. So it was either random chance.
It is LA.
It's either random chance,
That's fair.
right? Oh, hey, does this bookstore have books on vampires? Oh, guess what? I'm a vampire expert.
Yeah, he did know a lot.
It's
Well,
like the
I did
security
like-
guard
look,
from Wayne's World up in there. He
Yeah.
told her everything.
Right.
Every
Yes.
movie, every
Yes.
movie has an information character.
I know,
But I
this was
liked
like-
the fact
Right.
that this information character actually was like a book reader.
Okay, but
Like I like that part.
he goes in the he
Not just
pulls
some
the
random kid
vampire
that knows
book.
stuff.
He pulls the vampire book off the shelf, and without looking, turns to the page
Right to the page.
where the
We knew a
holes
lot
in the
about
leg
women
are.
empires.
Yeah. He's like, oh yeah, I know all about this.
I know
Seen
what it
this
is.
before here, page
Maybe
225 of the
He was
Vampire
looking at
Manual.
those-
Yeah,
I think he was looking
looked
at those diagrams for another reasons.
He was hoping to become one. He wished some
Right.
hot
Also-
chick vampire lady would come make him a vampire guy.
Robin asks the dumbest questions of this guy. Can a girl be a vampire? Yeah. Can a girl bite a boy and make him a vampire? And
Yeah.
like she's asking, I'm like,
Right.
yes.
Obviously.
Obviously. A 4-year-old knows the answers to these questions.
Well, she doesn't.
No, but the important information that she gets out of this, because it's just an expo dump, so she
Yeah.
can move on the plot,
Yep.
is that it's got to happen 3 times.
Yes.
Yep.
And then
And why it's in the crotchal area.
in the crotchal area.
Yeah.
Because of the virality of the virgin or whatever.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway, she goes to the virgin buddies, Russ and we're gonna have to
I
talk
think
about
this
this.
is my favorite scene. In the
Can I just leave?
Go ahead. You can come back in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
That's
when
fine.
I'm done with this one.
She says, Russ and Jamie, I need you guys again. You're his friends. If you were really his friends, you would look at his balls.
you're
There's
his
a lot
friends,
of
you
manipulative
do it.
conversation going on here. Yeah. It's okay to say no, by the way. We should just put that in here. If you're uncomfortable, even if they give you manipulative lines, just say no. You don't have to
right.
do everything people ask you.
She says, I need you to check his way upper thigh.
Yep.
Okay. And see if he's got 2 bite marks there for you.
So, yeah. So, laundromat scene
Yeah.
did need to be there.
No.
Like long scores, just long, type stuff, just thrown it on.
We
did need to
had
be
to hear
there.
the song. Man, we had to hear the song.
This definitely didn't need to be because it went nowhere. It did absolutely nothing.
They don't even
you could
accomplish
cut
the
that
mission.
out.
It's there for comedy.
It still
really
would
com-
have
Well,
affect-
The
it wouldn't
movie's only
affect the movie.
84 minutes long. You cut all these scenes out, it's an
Now
hour
I
movie.
think
That's what I want. I want an hour movie.
Joe's figuring out why this guy's a TV director.
Fair
Because he's really good at doing the 45-minute to hour
Yeah,
shot.
yeah, there you go.
All right, so they choose to do this in the shower,
It's school.
okay, at school. There's 100 other
Well,
ways they could have done it,
Yes. And they start in the locker room,
right?
It
They could have
goes-
gone to his house, locked his door, and pantsed him,
Yeah.
or whatever they had to do.
Yeah.
Or just, as he tells him later, you could have just asked him,
Ass.
Right.
Yeah.
right?
God.
They didn't even
So
consider
funny,
that.
though.
But that's the
instead-
mind of an 18-year-old boy, though.
They go follow him into the shower. There's this big communal shower because it's after gym class. And they're all standing, the 3 of them in a row. Every once in a while, he's trying to sneak a peek. Like
Yeah.
Russ is just trying to
get
look
there.
down. And Mark's not noticing because he's the most oblivious character in movie history.
He's
Okay. Now, Jamie is just getting soap in his
Soap
eyes.
in his
So
eyes.
he can't help at
And
all.
it's Russ is fine. Like, I'm just going to grab him and Jamie can look. And he grabs him behind.
He grabs him from behind.
Yep.
yeah.
But
Jamie,
the other guy
look,
can't
and
look because he's got soap in his eyes.
Right.
And then all the guys are like, what's going on?
All right. So I'm not going to say the word.
Yeah. I was
Can't
cringe.
say the word.
Oh, man.
But the word that they used to say a lot.
Yeah.
For this situation, and they were just saying that and going, alert, alert,
Yep.
homos in the shower,
Yeah.
right? And they're just screaming. And first of all, I'm like, alert. is there a protocol or something?
Yeah, right.
Like they filed out in an orderly fashion. on the
Right.
Fire
They
alarm,
put,
you know.
that alarm was right next to the fire alarm on the wall.
Is
They
that
pull
what
it
it
on their
was?
way out. Yeah, they do
Yeah.
drills. I think they must have because it was orderly how they exited the shower. Then.
People have obviously now taken great offense at this scene, and it has not aged well. But what's funny is the writer said, the people were talking about how horrible it is. The writer said he wrote that scene based on personal experience. Like that was a personal
really?
experience from his life.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
So it wasn't just something he thought up because he wanted to be a jerk.
No.
He was sharing or writing this out of his own personal life.
Oh.
Whether or not this should have been put in the movie is a different question.
Right.
But it was something that apparently happened to him.
Was he turning into a vampire?
No, but the shower scene. I don't know if he was witnessing it happening with somebody else and he was in there, if he was the guy yelling alert, or if he was the guy getting
Yeah.
tackled.
Pulling the fire alarm, or
whatever.
what?
He might have been the one looking for the bite
Yeah.
marks. I don't know.
That to be said. They go back to the hot dog hut and they're having like an existential crisis.
Yes.
They're like, everyone thinks we're gay.
Shame.
Everyone in the whole school.
Our reputation.
As they're wearing-
Help
as they're
us
wearing-
out.
Like,
Yeah.
they
wearing-
already thought you guys were gay.
Yes.
Yeah, there wasn't any. Now it's some sort of
Right.
big reveal, right? They already thought that.
He comes, this is when he comes over and he's like, all right, look, you guys could have just
He was
asked me.
very chill about this too.
Yeah.
Actually.
Super chill.
It's like, guys, you
He's
could
got
just
bigger
ask me.
things to worry about right
I
now than
love
his
this.
reputation.
What was the shower scene all about?
They at this point, this is where, there's lots of stupidity, but at this point, they see Robin getting taken by the Countess and put in a limousine.
But just
to be driving
Sebastian,
away.
I don't think
But I'm
Countess
like,
was there.
why did they do this right in front of the hot dog?
This is where they went. Oh crap, we're running. It's going to be an hour and a half here. We need to get this movie
Yeah, we
going
gotta-
now.
Yes.
So they just like, all right, Robin, get in a limo. How do we get Robin there? We can have all this expo, all this other stuff, and we don't have time. Just get her in
Just
a limo.
have her
Go.
show up in a parking
But
lot.
have,
yeah.
can you meet us at the hot dog hut? We want to make sure they see you getting into the limo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. And of course they do. And like, we gotta go save her.
Of course.
She's getting let off by the vampires. And so we go to the mansion again. And they break into one of the basement windows and Russ punches through it and he goes, why don't you just shoot off a cannon?
You're right.
The little jokes on this and this whole back end of the scene. There are some good little jokes in this that actually got me to laugh.
Word.
Yes.
They crawl inside. Jamie's being terrible. All he wants to do is poop or whatever. He's
Yep.
like,
Yeah.
Bowel
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah, his irritable bowel syndrome's flaring up or
Yeah.
whatever.
shut up. You guys are the worst sneaky.
He had a calculator watch on though.
I know you
saw
love
that.
those.
I almost put it on today.
I remember after Hands of Steel, you were all about that.
Oh,
thing,
that was the
man.
movie I got.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they're kind of sneaking through and they find Robin tied up in the basement and she's gagged. And so they start to untie her and they're like, and that's when she's like, you're still a virgin. Like she take the gag off and
Finally
she's
get
telling
the
him,
gag
It was
off.
just
you're
like
still
tape.
a virgin.
Yeah.
They just taped her mouth.
Tape.
Like
Right.
they taped her and left her there.
Yeah.
This is really
If she's
weird.
bait, that's why. But yeah.
Yeah.
This is really weird, but I just thought this was because of the situation, because what she was wearing, they were conscious enough about it. So they go, okay, when we tape her legs together, we'll cross them.
Yes.
Because she had her legs crossed,
Yeah.
but they were still taped to the chair.
Yeah.
So they had to cross her legs and then tape them
really?
to
I
the chairs.
didn't notice
Just
that.
Should we
for the
leave her like this? No. Cross her
no,
legs.
cross her.
That'd be really uncomfortable.
We're seeing things. We need to cross her legs. So instead of changing her dress,
Yeah.
her skirt,
They
they
just
just
cross her
had to
legs.
cross
Yeah.
her
I love
legs. It's just weird. I was like, why is she sitting in a chair cross legs?
No.
And then I noticed that they're all taped up. I'm like, that's got to be because of the.
She's not even that worried she's been captured by vampires. She just wants to tell Mark that he's not a virgin or that he's still a virgin, I
Right.
should
He's
say.
very excited that
She's very happy
on her.
that didn't happen. And ultimately they're captured here because again, Robin was just bait. And so they're all taken up to the living room and now all their vampires can change their clothes into tuxedos.
Ah,
Okay. So I know they have other outfits, guys. I know that you do.
Yeah.
Mark is tied up to this chair that looks specifically made for what's about to happen.
Yes.
Custom,
Custom
leg
chair.
biting chair.
Right.
They get him. She's at this point got some kind of control over him.
Yes, he gives the biggest Joker smile without Joker
It's
makeup
the Grinch
ever.
smile.
Yeah,
It's the
Yeah.
That he ends up doing
Oh,
the
yeah,
Grinch with the
yeah.
big stupid smile he
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And he gets tied to the chair. He's under her control. She's about to go down and bite his leg. And this is when Robin runs over with a cross necklace
Yep.
and puts it in the Countess's face and she backs up. And she's like trying to break the spell. Mark, it's me. It's Robin. I'm the owner of the pants you've been trying to get into for the last 4 years.
Yep.
And that snapped him out of him. He's like,
I forgot about that.
But the cross worked, but then it didn't work because then Countess goes, crosses only work in the movies.
Yeah.
Like, then why'd you back off?
And then she's
Right.
like, besides, I'm an atheist.
Yes, that was another great line.
She's like, fire on the other
Fire,
hand.
yeah.
Fire. She
Yeah.
comes in.
Why do they have so much fire in there then?
They only had 2 sticks of
Wouldn't
fire.
they be nervous
Yeah,
if
there's only
they're really afraid of fire?
So
They're
Russ and
really
Jamie,
flammable.
Yeah.
Russ and Jamie each grab what
They're all
equates to
wearing
basically.
polyester.
Yeah.
Russ and Jamie each grab a poker, which equates to like fire pokers if they were lit on the end. Is basically what these things
Yeah.
are. These little skinny sticks with flames on the end of them.
Right.
Okay, and these 2 are holding off. There's 17 vampires in this room,
right.
and there's 2 sticks of fire, and they've got them all
They
That's
really
it,
don't.
man.
They really don't.
Yep.
Like
under
fire.
control. And so they're able to get Mark out of the straps. They get up, behind him. They're all trying to back out the door with their 2 fire sticks. And Countess is like, Mark, I will give you all of your dreams, everything you've ever wanted, your unspoken desires. She's like, no, he doesn't want you because you're mean and dirty and terrible. He wants me because I'm nice and pure and sweet.
Yep.
So F off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, the fact that she plays a very untraditional 80s girlfriend.
Yes.
Again, that was very refreshing.
Yes.
Yes.
Because they always play this like stupid,
Yes.
naive, innocent,
Yeah.
No, she was smart.
annoying girlfriend.
Yeah.
And here she is like going, F off.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah.
and she's going in there.
Yeah.
She even, tried to punch her. There was all the,
Right.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Right.
I liked
Great
it.
character.
Yep.
Very good.
They get this door closed, but it's a door that you can reach through. It's not like it's like a gate almost, right?
Yeah.
And they've still got the 2 fire sticks, and they're all like on the other side going, fire.
Right.
And they hand one of the fire sticks to Mark. They're like, you run, we'll hold them here with one stick.
One
Stick.
fire.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he goes, I'll see you guys at school.
Yeah, I like that line too.
Okay. See you, buddy. We'll see you at school
And
tomorrow.
him and Robin run off.
Best of luck to you.
Just this whole time.
Peace.
I'm like, guys, okay, I know we're just trying to get to the end of this movie,
I'm trying to get them in the movie.
but we're going to hold off 17 vampires with 2 fire sticks, and they're going to let them get out of those vampires should have torn all of them limb from limb.
Well, they weren't particularly violent, great
And
vampires.
they're not violent. They were talking about how they'd swoop in on
Well,
peasants.
just
and-
Countess
Just
and
Countess.
Sebastian. The other guys were kind of like chill.
all right, fine.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right. They should have been more violent.
No, but ultimately it turns into a chase sequence where all the vampires do get past the 2
Yeah, because they
virgins.
blow the stick out. They finally
They
figure
literally
out,
just
oh,
Yeah, they blow it out.
But they don't kill them.
no, because they don't want them.
Right.
Well, they push to the gate and they get stuck behind it, and then
And-
there's 2 lady vampires left.
Because one of them, when the virgin twins there, it said to the other one, "Are they? They're going to kill us, right?" And he goes, "They don't want us."
No.
So
Yep.
But these 2 girl vampires come over and start rizzing them up. And I'm just like, what's happening here?
right.
They end up,
He drops the line.
the first time it worked, he didn't want it to. It was the dude in drag.
Yeah.
Then it worked on the girl in the laundromat. And now again with this girl vampire. And the girl vampires strip off their dresses. And just like Blind Fury, that is never resolved.
No.
We never find out what happens with these characters.
No, they're
That's the
done at
last
that
we see
point.
them.
Yep.
We don't know if those
You're right. We never
vampires
see 'em again.
murdered them, drank their blood, if they're now vampires, if they just scored and then they got to go home, or nothing. We have no idea.
I like to believe they scored and went home.
Yeah, I think so.
Went home.
Would have been nice to know.
Because those girl vampires didn't seem like they were too interested in biting femoral arteries or anything. They just wanted to get a little action.
Yeah, I'm a little confused in the vampire lore. The other vampires didn't seem very aggressive.
Vampire-y. Now, in the meantime, while they're scoring with these 2 hot vampires, Mark and Robin are running through doors and walls, and they're busting out of floors and going down slides.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah, why is there a slide?
Why is there a slide?
It looked like a really cheap haunted house. And
Yeah.
with just like overdone actors playing stupid vampires.
Yeah.
When he busts through the floor, it was the most obvious styrofoam
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
that I'd ever
Concrete,
seen.
styrofoam.
Could you paint the something, man?
But I do have to say though, one of my favorite little bits of the whole thing was
Yeah.
they got to that one door and he punches through it.
Yeah.
And the Countess is like, wait.
Yes.
Do you realize I have to fix every single door?
I've replaced every
idiots
door in
break?
this place.
Why don't you just check the handle to see if it
You
opens?
at least try the knob first, and he shy.
Yeah.
Turns
It
opens it. I love that,
That was
part.
so funny.
Very
And so
tongue-in-cheek.
In the
Love it.
room that they're about to get into is all of their coffins from this harem of vampires,
Yes. Yeah.
which Mark and Robin have ran into. And her stopping him to scold him about busting through doors is what gives them time
Oh,
to
yeah,
get
just
into
in
one of the
time.
coffins.
And I think it was the coffin they had for Mark.
They were getting ready for him.
Oh,
They
was
talk about
it?
how much space there was in it for him.
Oh, that's right. Earlier in
Yeah.
the scene, why does he need such a big? Yeah,
Because he's an 80s man. They need
Yeah.
more space or whatever. Regardless,
Again, they set it up, though.
they really needed a more stable base for that coffin.
They-
I was very concerned it might plummet off of the pedestal it was on.
It's true. They finally bust in and they're gone. Like, oh, where are they? They're not here. And then one of the coffins starts rocking, like those cars we saw earlier in the
coffins
film.
are
Coffin's
rocking.
rocking, don't come a
There you
knocking.
go.
Right. And they all kind of just huddle around it. And there's this look, and I thought she played it really well, that comes over the Countess's face as she's staring at this rocking coffin.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The thing opens up and Robin sits up and she goes,
No, this is the most important. She spits a button at him.
oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
She
it's
spits a
just
button
a
at
final
it.
button
Yes.
thing.
That was great.
She goes, you're too late.
You're too
right?
late. And she's like, there couldn't be enough
late.
time. And he's like, oh, time.
And
I
then,
guess
Lauren,
there was.
and then Lauren Hunt looks and goes, I guess there probably was enough time.
But you didn't enjoy it.
But you didn't have enough time to enjoy it.
Yes.
She says. And then right at that point, it strikes midnight and she starts to age. And I thought she was going to
Horribly.
look like
Yeah.
really old.
Yeah.
She looked fine.
She looked pretty good.
okay.
You look like your
agree.
80-year-old grandma.
Like, what
Yeah.
you're like the hottest 80-year-old grandma I ever
Seriously.
saw in my
They
life.
could have made her look much worse.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Especially since she's 400. I was
Yeah.
expecting, like,
Yeah.
Well, I thought they were going to go into like really make her ugly.
Yeah.
Get the
Yeah.
big nose,
Yeah.
warts,
Right.
Yeah,
you know,
everything.
wrinkles, the
yeah.
green,
Just
like just
kind of
something.
drawn in and just
Yeah.
skin and
No,
bones.
she didn't look that
and, yeah.
bad. She
No.
didn't look a day past 120.
It kept changing, and I'm like, she looks a little older, and it would change again. Like, oh, here we go, and then it just like her face never changed.
No.
Yeah. And then it
Just her
stops,
hair would
like,
get grayer
Yeah.
or whatever,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
she's,
I was like,
stops at about 82.
And Sebastian was so kind to her.
oh, don't worry, I'll help you. We'll
worry.
find
We'll
another
get her-
virgin.
As long as you've got scarves, we're fine.
Sebastian really cares about her,
Yeah, he does. He really does.
and none of the other vampires are mad. They just let him leave. I'm assuming
Yeah.
we don't know because they go back into the coffin for round 2,
Yeah.
and then the credits roll.
Well, the spell is not broken.
Yeah.
For all the rest of
Yeah.
the vampires.
Oh, so now they're not vampires.
Well,
either?
maybe not they're vampires. Maybe they're just
They can
no
do their own
longer
thing.
under her servitude.
Oh.
They're like, I'm out.
maybe.
Yeah.
Could be. I
Maybe.
think you're right. I think they alluded
And then
to
maybe
that
that's what
earlier.
happened to 2 girl vampires then.
Yeah, maybe.
That would be terrible. Right before they're about to score.
Oh,
they
wait.
Never mind. We're out of here. That's Once Bitten, you guys.
Yeah.
And so we're going to do what we always do here. Now that we've gone through the movie scene by scene, it's time to give it some awards. And we like to start with our probably most positive award. And this is maybe a little difficult, the movie with lots of kind of silly, over-the-top performances. But the Will Patton Award, it's important because it's for intensity. And not every movie has someone that's maybe being overtly intense. It's also really, as we say every week, for the person that took their role the most seriously. They really put everything into it. They're like, I know I'm in Once Bitten, a teenage sex comedy in 1985, but I'm giving this everything I got here. Who was the nominees as we go through the Will Patton Award for intensity?
You want a war? I'll give you a war!
I don't want them to gain another yard.
You blitz all night! And if they cross the line of scrimmage, I'm gonna take every last one of you out. You make sure
They remember forever the night they played the Titans.
All right, guys. So we're going to start off with Joe down at that end of the table. Joe, who's your nominee for the Will Patton Award for intensity?
This is a tough one.
It is on this one.
This one actually is tough. I think everybody brought something to the table. But the person who really showed up and I think gave it their all, I mean, I don't think you could deny Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey.
I think, honestly. Okay. I like to pick like a secondary character
Right.
Yeah.
that shines. And there is a lot of good. I mean, Sebastian,
Yeah.
Robin, the Countess,
Yeah.
Where is this? Beans Morocco. The husband who came in and caught his wife, whatever.
Harry.
Yeah.
He came in, all
Daddy got in trouble or whatever.
Yes,
Yeah.
at the
By
end.
way. I'm like, what is going on with
I
these
enjoyed
two?
a lot of those guys, but
right.
I think Jim Carrey.
Going with Jim Carrey. That's one nomination for Jim Carrey. Charles, where you at?
I'm gonna go Jim Carrey also.
2 votes
I think
for Jim.
he really does carry the movie. Carry the
Rack him up.
movie.
There you go.
I think he's intense. He does his thing. It works well in this.
Okay.
And he's
I don't disagree with you guys, but I went with Lauren Hutton. I was
Sure.
I bought it, man. I bought everything about the fact that the way she played it as a vampiress that had been, hunting for 400 years, and she was so good at the seduction part of it and the flirting and all that stuff. And I thought she really killed it.
yeah.
Well, they originally wanted Elvira to play that part.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, the fact that she played it different but better.
Yeah.
I think it gave it a little more legitimacy.
Yeah.
Right.
Not a dig on Elvira, but it would have
No.
definitely been like more of a comedic thing. I thought
Right.
she did a great job.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
you at, Mueller?
This one was tough. I mean, and I think we were talking last night about how I really didn't necessarily like Robin and the Countess much, but I went back and watched it again last night and kind of picked up on those little things. So I really enjoyed both of their performances, but I think in the end, I land on Jim Carrey. I mean, he
Okay.
did his thing. It was a kind of a goofy movie where you didn't have, maybe kind of the traditional, if you will, intensity like we would maybe an action movie or something, trying to pick someone out there. But I think he played the idiot well. He did his tamp down from what we know Jim Carrey is now, but he still did his physical comedy, his Jim Carrey thing. He took it seriously. I think a lot, for kind of a goofy movie, everybody definitely took it seriously.
Okay.
So, but Jim Carrey.
All right, so right now it's 3 votes for Jim Carrey, 1 for Lauren Hutton as we go to our patrons. And we got Brian Boucher jumping in. And it's spelled like Boucher, like Bobby Boucher from The Waterboy, but he told me, he's like, it's like voucher.
Voucher.
That's very helpful because I'm terrible at pronouncing
Yeah, it's
names. So I
hard to
appreciate that
pronounce
you
it.
did
I
that.
have a very hard pronounceable name.
Yeah. How do you actually say it?
Hewitt.
Oh, good. I've been saying it the right way.
Yeah.
So why?
The stuff I've known you for years and you just never stop me.
Silent Y. Yeah, no, you got it right.
Brian went with Cleavon Little as Sebastian for his
That's a
Will
good pick,
Patton.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just said such a gem. I agree, Brian. I thought he did a great job.
Fun to watch.
Dave, don't call him Paul Parkinson, all the way from Australia, joining us here again. And he also went with Cleavon Little as Sebastian. He said he of Blazing Saddles fame brought it in every scene. He was awesome.
He was good.
So where are we going to have an upset here or a tie possibly? Because we've also got Vince Hines jumping. I think this is Vince's first time jumping in on
Sounds, yeah.
awards.
So, yeah.
Vince said, got to give it to Jim Carrey.
All
There we go.
It's always good to see him be let off the leash and just have fun regardless of the movie. And so that means that with 4 votes, Jim Carrey is going to win the Will Patton Award for intensity.
Good choice.
All good choices.
Yeah.
All good choices.
Did he
Can't
win
argue
for
with
Me,
any of
Myself, and Irene? Is that his second Will Patton win? I think he probably won for that. All right. The next award we give out is the one you don't want to win. It's our award. We give out an award every week to whoever the worst actor was in the movie. The award is called the Steven Seagal Trash Can Full of Dirt.
Yes.
Who is going to win this week?
Trash can, oh trash can, it's a trash can full of dirt. Yeah.
Love never dies, and neither do they. Love is eternal, and that's a long time.
That's right.
Right.
And I invented the whisper. So
He's like a first ASMR.
I invented the whisper. So you got to get in close and I can punch you.
Every time you whisper, I get a nickel.
This is called acting when you whisper.
I was actually the first vampire. That's why I'm still alive.
That's right. I suck all entertainment out of my movies. Suck the life out of it.
Joe, who's your nominee for the Steven Seagal Trash Can Full of Dirt?
I have it between 2.
Okay.
Well, technically 3. But I would say I'm between Jim Carrey's two best friends.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Russ
So I
and
think
Jamie.
you can't pick either one because I think they're both.
They're a
pretty
pair.
much-
Yeah, they're a pair.
They're a
Yeah, that's
pair. Pair of pile of. Yeah, exactly.
Pair of garbage cans.
Yeah, exactly. Or the score, the sound director,
on.
because Just
That's
the
not
over-
acceptable.
What?
You can't give a trash. It's for an acting award.
The score is interesting in this movie. I
I mean,
enjoyed it,
take
but
your
it's kind of dumb.
couple minutes. You want to trash the score, get it on the record. But
Okay.
you can't give
yeah.
them.
I mean, come on. Use another song. I mean, both songs were
Yes.
good, and I'm not going to say they were
The
bad.
song slapped, man.
But just, I mean, come on, use something else.
Once bitten.
Yeah.
You hear that
Only
so
song
much
we
in the
have.
movie.
Once bitten.
Yeah. Every 2 seconds you heard that damn thing.
Man, Quiet Riot
overplayed
wasn't around yet, man.
Right.
Come on.
So
Once bitten.
whatever. So I guess if I can't choose the sound director, I'm gonna have to go with the best friends
Once
Okay.
bitten.
Best friend.
as a pair. So
No,
I will
they
not-
have to be.
I will
They're-
not
yeah.
separate the
Once
two.
bitten.
Okay, we got it. Please stop. I just
You love it so
Good.
much. I want
I should just do this whole episode is playing that song.
I'll just go burn a CD for Joe of that.
All
Here's,
right, that's
here's your
a-
Once Bitten soundtrack, Joe.
a vote for
two
the
songs. If
the
you get
Virgin
the album,
Brothers.
it's 2 songs.
Flip it the other side.
That's all
Well, you
it
got an
is.
A side and a B side on the record, man. That's it.
hands off.
Yep. What's been hands off?
I had forgotten about Hands Off. That was a good song.
All right, so we got
All
to
right.
vote for the Virgin Boys. Charles.
I'm going to go with just one of them. I mean, I think
Okay.
you're right. They probably could go together. I did think Jamie was more entertaining and tried a little bit harder. Like he was, you
Yeah.
got his like over exuberant feel going.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're on with Russ.
I'm going with Russ.
Okay.
I thought I did like Russ just didn't have a lot of charisma. Anyone probably could have played that role. Although I did think he was funny when they went into the castle and he like, I have to go to the bathroom and pee. And then his lines about the shower stuff were pretty hilarious too.
yeah.
But-
So wait, so you're talking about the guy that had to pee as your trash can?
Yes.
That's Jamie.
Jamie.
oh, is that Jamie?
That's
Oh,
Jamie.
okay.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
Jamie.
All right, so
that
Jamie's
guy.
getting
Jamie's
it. All
getting
right. Fair enough. That's a second vote
So
for
we got
Jamie.
two Jamies.
And I actually went, guys. I went with Karen Coppins as Robin.
What? I could see that. Actually.
Look, she's not a good actress.
She's a good dancer, though.
She's a great dancer.
Give her that.
Great dancer, but like, come on, man. Some of these scenes where he's like, "Whatever, I slept with this person." I mean, I don't know. Maybe I just felt like she undersold a lot of
Yeah.
her stuff.
Yeah.
And I wasn't feeling it from Karen, so I didn't think she gave a good performance.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of on the Virgin Twins train, for most of the movie. Karen Coppins crossed my mind till we got to the bookstore. I'm giving it to the bookstore guy.
Guy.
That's not a bad choice.
That's
either.
not a bad choice. No.
All right.
He was terrible.
Very good, especially because we're not sure what if he was Indian or I didn't
Right,
even think about that.
I mean,
when
he
you put
was-
that in there.
Yeah, he was obviously trying to do some sort of German, Austrian
That makes
type
a lot more
accent.
sense than Indian because he didn't look Indian.
No, not at all.
But he sounded.
Hold on a second. You are so right about that. Now that I think about it, because I want to literally think if a trash can could do better. I mean, she could have literally went to the bookstore.
Yeah.
There was a trash can in the middle,
Found
picked up the
it.
lid,
Yes,
grabbed the
there's the
book,
book.
went, oh, and then closed the lid
true.
and walked away.
That is a really good choice.
and it would have been exactly the
Right,
same.
same. Yeah.
fair.
Good choice.
Because he's trying to do, and you think about vampires trying to do maybe some sort of Transylvanian accent, and he ended up like
I want to
Indian.
suck your blood.
Yeah.
All right.
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
changing my vote, but I
But that's
respect
that
the
is
hell
a
out of
great
yours.
vote right there.
I respect the hell out of
Good
yours.
choice.
Well, let's see what the patrons had to say. Brian said he's going with Peggy Pope, who is Mrs. Kendall, Mark's mom,
Yeah.
with a dishonorable mention for Thomas Ballatone as Jamie. So
Yeah.
Jamie gets a dishonorable mention, but he's still sitting at 2 votes overall. And we got a vote for the mom there from Brian. I thought the mom was
Just
whatever.
fine.
I mean, whatever.
She was there.
Not
She's
great.
in one scene, 2 scenes.
Yeah.
I mean, she was
I think
there.
only one, yeah.
She did kind of undersell the drinking of the meat blood.
Yeah.
Dave Parkinson said, "Look, I couldn't split the 2 mates, so I'm going Jamie and Russ."
Yep, there you go.
They were terrible. Russ was a cliche, and Jamie was a whiny bee.
Yeah.
Woeful. Honorable mention to the Countess. The Countess.
Ah.
Dave, I'm so
Dare
happy you did not
Right.
make her your.
I had to go back. Went back and
She was
enjoyed her
great.
performance more the second time around.
She was great. All right, so we'll see what Vince has to say here, but it's looking like it's going to be a Jamie win with a second place from his buddy Russ. Vince said, "For my honorable mention, every vampire that is not the Countess or Sebastian."
Great.
That's fair.
Okay,
That's
that's fair.
For the real award, give it to Robin. For someone who throughout the movie refused to be there for her boyfriend, it doesn't help that when Mark actually needs help, she sends other people to do what she could have done the whole time.
So is that a tie?
No, it's still
No.
3 votes.
Oh, you got 3
2
for
double
Jamie.
votes.
Yep,
Jamie got a
gotcha.
single, so
Got it.
Jamie's
There we
still
go.
going to win.
Jamie wins.
But I think it's a good thing that let's just give Jamie his props.
Yeah.
It's a moment that we can say for Robin, y'all could have solved this whole problem about an hour earlier. And so nice job there, Jamie. We're going to move on to the Steve James Unsung Hero Award. We give out this in honor of Steve James, who made every movie he was in a smaller part better than it would have been without him. So who's the person that wasn't the lead role, which I would say probably the Countess and Jim Carrey are the lead roles, that made the movie better just by them being in it?
There's only one clear choice, in my opinion.
in your
there's
opinion,
one clear choice, and that's Sebastian.
Yeah.
Cleavon Little.
That's who I got too. I'd agree. He was great.
He was this little sub what you call it, but I loved him.
He was-
I absolutely
Yes.
loved him.
I did too. He's mine.
I went Cleavon Little.
You'd give it
Yeah. No,
like you're
dude.
playing with us.
This movie's not as good with him in it.
No, he was
he was
surprisingly
great
good
in this.
Yes. Absolutely. When he comes over to try and help the Countess at the end, and he goes, "How would you like a crotch full of fire?" He's like, "Oh, rough trade." Good stuff, man. What we got?
Yeah, Sebastian.
Yeah.
All the way.
Love it.
Yeah, all the way.
Let's see if we got a clean sweep across the board here. Brian went with Peter Ebeling as the bookseller. What? He gave Peter
wow.
his Unsung Hero Award, Mr. Boucher.
I don't know.
Planting his flag. I love it.
I mean, I like he picked, but that's a bad choice.
Dave Parkinson went with Sebastian Cleveland Little. He
Yeah,
said
there you go.
It's gonna be
he owned every scene he was in. He
Yep.
needed to be in this movie at least 50% of the time. He was entertaining, funny, and his quips and one-liners were great. Dave, I agree with you.
Yeah.
100%.
Vince Hines said, "Give me more of the librarian who was just meant to be the trope of the expo dump in the movie." Despite being cut short by Robin, who would not take any advice from the guy who told her everything in his short amount of time. That's 2 unsung
That's
hero
interesting
votes
that they gave him to that
for
guy.
the librarian.
We didn't like him, but people liked him.
People seem to like him. I respect it. All right, a couple more that we got to give away here.